Today on the Cooligans, in the first segment, it's the World Cup. The World Cup hasn't gone anywhere, and we're getting sad that it's about to go. But Colombia is gone. Messi is gone. Not Argentina. Only Messi exclusively. Portugal is out. We're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with this topsy-turvy ass World Cup.
In the second segment, we talked to the host of Seeing Red, Mark Fishkin. Yeah, that's right. We've got a red in our studio. That's right, live in our studio. He's a really cool dude. We get to talk to him in the second segment.
What them colors mean, Mark? So, and the third segment, we get all the other MLS stuff. Mauro Diaz is leaving to a country that we know very well. That I've actually been to, Alexis.
Yeah.
So it's a terrible country. Don't go there. But we cover all the derbies, all the Cali Clásico, a bunch of great games, all more, and this week on the Cooligans.
Hey, this is Alexi Lawless. There is nobody in U.S. soccer that is more important than the Cooligans.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get your spirits up, everybody.
Wow. If you're English, you hate this show but love today.
Yes, there's no possible way English people can enjoy us two, especially.
There's only one, and he's a little sadistic. Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Maybe we sound a little bit more somber than usual, but we just came back from the England-Colombia World Cup round of 16 match.
And once again, Geiger ruined it all.
Man of the match,
Yeah.
Mark Geiger.
Mark Geiger's whistle. Boy, that yellow card got way more action than Lingard.
I think
You know what I mean?
you can build a Colombia flag out of those yellow cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good start to it. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Come on, this is the Cooligans, baby.
My name is Christian Polanco.
My name is Alexis Guerreros.
And we are your two favorite stand-up comedians who host a soccer podcast. Goddamn funniest soccer podcast.
It's the funniest soccer podcast. It's also the gulliest soccer podcast.
Brah.
Everybody gets it. Also, it's the most We Love This World Cup podcast.
That's right.
I can't get enough of this World Cup. I hope it never ends.
And that's really the sad thing, that it will end.
Why?
Really, just it's like when you know your parents are about to get divorced.
Right.
It's just why we're here right now. We're not divorced.
We're having a good time.
We're having a good time. Yeah, things are not perfect, but
Come on.
why get divorced? That's weeks away. We can stop that train right now.
You're going to ruin it for everyone.
So first, I just wanted to give because I am Colombian.
That's right. You've become Colombian.
I've been Colombian my entire life since the beginning of the World Cup.
You've been Colombianized.
That's right. So we got to show some respect and love to our Colombian brethren.
Yeah.
So here we go. Little Pastor Lopez.
We're so sorry to all the cafeteros, to all the parceros.
What a shame.
Back to selling cocaine. I mean, that was soccer shit.
They don't do that anymore.
I forgot.
Okay, they moved it to the countries around Colombia now.
I haven't been reading the pamphlets. All right, well, Bolivia. Thanks for picking up the slack where the Colombians left off. I am, look, people, I've got a couple text messages from people who don't really watch the World Cup, don't really watch soccer, I should say, and have been watching this World Cup, and they're like, oh, why does it have to go to penalties? It's so stupid. Have you been watching? Every game, basically, has been riveting.
Yeah.
There's maybe been 4 games this entire tournament that haven't been edge of your seat. Yeah. I mean, you're bitching about penalties? But do you have any idea the pressure under? These are people who've never held a controller that's been shaking during penalties. That's what it is.
That's right. They don't understand it like we do.
Yeah, they're not inside.
It's us and World Cup athletes are really the only people that kind of really understand.
We get it.
The pressures that come with.
I mean, think about it.
A world-class athlete.
Who understands that pressure more? Someone, let's say, on the USA men's national team? Or like a Mike LaBelle. You know what I mean? Who does that maybe 8 times a day?
Yes, the EMLS players, they're under almost an equivalent amount of pressure.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, some people may argue, it's not maybe not millions of people are watching the EMLS Cup final,
Sure.
but definitely thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. First of all, they're filling out stadiums for these games.
Sure.
So they understand
They get
the
it.
pressure.
So
Like when I play Call of Duty, I mean, I might as well get free coffee. You know what I mean? As a soldier.
yes, that Call of Duty is also the what Alexis calls going to the bathroom. Anyway,
Hey, dad joke of the week.
because it's a long, arduous process, and lots of men will die.
And I might not make it back. And there will be blood.
Oh my goodness.
Why do you still listen?
A couple things to remind everybody before we begin, because there's only 2 weeks left before the beginning of the World Cup comedy tour. Yes,
World Cup
the
comedy
World Cup
tour.
is ending soon, but really the larger global event,
The real tournament.
the real intense, where we will be sweating
Right.
during every moment.
And first of all, I guarantee you, because we're going to very hot cities. And second of all, every show goes to penalties. All right, that's it.
That's it. Okay. It's gonna be pretty intense. So the World Cup comedy tour that we will be participating with, Total Soccer Show at Mike Majid, comedian out of LA, also runs the LA Goalkeeping Academy. Tickets are available right now for 8 different cities.
He also has the Inside the 18 podcast, you know?
Inside the his other podcast, that's right. So again, just a reminder, anybody who does not recall, the cities are Omaha, Kansas City, Richmond, Virginia Beach, Cincinnati, Ohio, Columbus, Chicago, and we can finally officially announce
Which no one has any idea what this next city is.
ATL.
We going to All-Star. We're doing our own show at MLS All-Star, or at least in the city it's happening, because MLS don't really talk about
tickets for those are going to be should be available right now. If they're not, just please tweet at us at Soccer Cooligans
or at World Cup Comedy Tour.
Yeah, or soccercooligans@gmail.com. Hit us up if you want to get tickets and you are unable to. So hit us up or email us. However you want to get in contact with us, please do that.
And by the way, Atlanta, we might be doing 2 shows. That's how big this could be down there.
That's right. So it's gonna be.
Tell your friends.
It's gonna be an event.
Jay Riddle, tell everybody.
That's when we put out the beacon to Atlanta.
We put on the sleeveless light, and that light shines up in the skies of Atlanta, and Jay knows he's needed. The zucchini lets him know. The World Cup zucchini lets him know.
Zucchini alert. So make sure you get tickets for that worldcupcomedytour.com. It's going to be great. There's going to be guests at different cities. So no show is going to be the same in each city. So
you got to come.
You got to come. You got to come and be there and experience it yourself. Because it's an honor for us to do something like this. And this is for comedy and American soccer. This is a thing that. This could be the beginning of something really, really exciting. So we want to be on the forefront of it.
An everlasting love.
Yes. So that we're stoked about that. Again,
and by the way, we want to do this all over again. We want to do the World Cup Comedy Tour every single year.
Every year. If the
so
World
if you
Cup,
guys come out,
we're gonna bring the World Cup every year. All this 4-year stuff, ridiculous. We're gonna
trash.
Johnny Infantino, this is garbage. You gotta change this.
These lazy soccer players. What are we doing? First of all, we're performing every night, okay? Mm-hmm. And second of all, we're doing the World Cup every year, but we're only gonna get a chance to do it every year if you guys come out and support. So please buy those tickets, worldcupcomedytour.com.
That's right.
Us, Total Soccer Show, Inside the 18, Mike Majid. We got big stars and those other guys that were the big stars. Come on out, guys.
Yeah, so there might be surprise guests from your team's your city's team out there. So you gotta show up, because we can't even reveal all those secrets, even though Alexis will probably spoil it at some point during this podcast.
Of course I will, but that just means you have to listen.
Exactly. So and right before we get started, don't forget to leave a review and on iTunes, 5 stars, rate, review. We've been getting some nice reviews, some mean reviews.
No,
yo, it's been great. That's it. You got it. We gotta raise the bar. If people are not happy with what we're doing, it's not always.
Have we really gotten bad reviews?
We got a couple, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, man. That's what comes when you at the top.
Everybody goes for your head.
They go, all right. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Well, look, we asked for 5-star reviews. We didn't ask for none of that other bullshit.
But no, feel free to do that. Leave a review on there on iTunes. It helps us climb the iTunes ranking so that more people can hear about the show. And if you have a friend that likes soccer and they don't know about the Cooligans, you're letting them down. So I mean, that's on you. All right.
And don't forget to go to our reviews page if you already left a review. And if you see a negative review, just hit that little button that says it offended you, and it will go away.
Yes, report it to your congressman. So let's talk about this World Cup, this round of 16. They've been. Were there any games since the last podcast? Were there any other group stage games? Maybe there were. Yeah, there were. The one,
all the ending one, all the last ones.
The match day threes were, but. I mean, the only ones that stood out to me. I mean, I went to Astoria, Queens, to watch Colombia against Senegal.
Wow, you took a flight to Medellin, basically.
Yeah, cheaper actually than.
Yeah. It's the only.
It got me there faster than the MTA. I'll tell you that much.
You can Uber your way to Little Colombia.
So. I saw the game in Astoria. The place is called, I think, Smash and Twist, or Twist and Smash, something like that. It's on the Steinway stop in Astoria, and packed with Colombians, just
jammed.
Which is Queens, and
that's Queens. That's bodegas in Queens. That's everything.
Queens is wall to wall Colombians
just everywhere. You're hitting them with newspapers. You're getting exterminators. They won't go away.
So but the game was exciting. Colombia did win that game, and any other one. And then we had the England Belgium, the game that nobody wanted to win. Because and look how that turned out.
But nobody wanted to play Japan. I would have played Japan happily.
Yes, but it got scary there for Belgium in that game. So
my question is, do you think? I thought this was what was going to happen with Germany. Like, all right, they went down to the wire with Sweden and they won in the last second. That's going to make them a more solidified team, and that's going to galvanize them a bit. And no, that didn't happen. Germany ends up losing in the knockout round to Japan. Right? No,
they didn't get out of the group.
No, they didn't get out of the group. Sorry. I'm all over the place. Yeah, they lost to South Korea.
Because a lot has happened just today.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
It's hard to.
I honestly feel like we should do a podcast every other day, really, because there's so much happening. They lost to South Korea. South Koreans were getting carried all over Mexico on the shoulders of Mexicans. And then Mexicans don't make it through to the fifth game yet again.
Yeah.
Yet again.
So okay, let's find that place to at least start with the Mexican sadness, right?
Yeah.
They got a new president, but they lost in the
That's
world.
right. They hired their own. They voted in their own Trump, their own populist.
Is he? Is that
He's a bit of a populist.
I have no. I literally have no idea.
Everyone calls him AMLO. That's his initials, AMLO.
Okay.
And he's a little bit of a populist.
Okay.
Whatever. People voted for him. He's just going to stop corruption. So I'm sure we'll be having a funeral for him pretty soon.
So now, this is this is a political podcast now.
Yeah. This is why you tune in.
Get used to it.
Don't you want to know about Mexican politics, guys?
So leave a good review on this political podcast.
Yeah, 5 stars.
Mexico did lose against Brazil. It's Brazil, right? No one truly expected them to be able to. They weren't going to dominate Brazil. If they were going to win, it was going to be kind of a miracle.
Right. But this is the World Cup where that would have happened.
Yes. Every game, forget what your daddy's World Cup was. All right. Your granddaddy's World Cup.
Even your older cousin's World Cup got nothing. There's no history. There's nothing that you can.
Legends.
Nothing.
Stats. Nobody cares.
Trash. All of it. Trash. All of it.
Nothing means nothing to nobody. Yeah. All right. You show up in those 90 minutes. Yes. The Asian Confederation wants the World Cup, and they're taking it. All right.
And they just might. Well, no, they're all out.
They're all out.
Well, no, Russia. Russia's Asian.
Is Russia in the Asian Confederation?
Yeah.
They're not UEFA?
No.
Oh, I guess they wouldn't be. Yeah.
There you go, Russia.
Those Asians.
Yeah. All those Asian Russians.
They're technically Asian.
Okay, hands up. Not our fault. We don't make the rules. It could have been the Australians. Those Asians could have won. This has been absolutely amazing. Mexico very much could have won. People text me all the time, like, who's the favorite? There are none anymore.
Yeah.
The favorite is Bedlam. That's what the favorite is. The favorite is chaos.
Madness.
Yeah, mayhem. No one knows what's happening.
Who's the favorite? Well, let me flip this table and I will explain everything for you.
And hopefully there's a coin on the edge that flips in the air, and then you could call that.
In general, I know last week we were arguing if this is the best World Cup we've ever seen.
That argument's over. This really is the greatest.
Last week, I was of the belief, I'm like, since the U.S. was not there, and those memories that I've had of the U.S. Having some success in the World Cup made me, feel like something was missing.
Yeah, there was a sense of yearning for more.
Yes, and I have to say this: the fact that this World Cup has been so unpredictable, and results have been so unexpected, and games have been so close when they really in history they should not be.
Right,
history says they should not be. This, I have to say, is the greatest World Cup I've ever seen.
This is so good that I think the U.S. should just not even try to get in the next World Cup. Like, let's just keep making.
Now we realize that the U.S. has actually ruined every World Cup.
And also Italy, and also Netherlands and Chile. You guys just never. We need to turn the World Cup as it is right now into a single entity. You cannot make.
And look, we are very experienced in this. We're well versed in how this works.
You cannot make your way in. This is it. This is the little bubble that we are now.
All right, there's going to be an expansion fee if you want to get into the next World Cup. Okay.
I'm floored with how amazing this World Cup is. Mexico beating Germany. It could have happened. I mean, I'm sorry, Mexico beating Brazil. It could have happened.
It could have happened.
It absolutely could have happened.
What's wild is that, in a couple examples, right? In Belgium, Japan, also even with Colombia, England, like there is a clear favorite during the game, and before the game happens, and you're seeing a lot of these quote unquote underdogs really show more resolve than I've ever really seen from these smaller countries that or not even that. Let me not just say that it's all heart, because we have to acknowledge that there clearly has been improvement over time from the African countries, from the Asian countries, that and Russia is another example of, like,
they're an example of a dope country, but like, let's take Japan as an example. Every one of those players was comfortable when you kicked the ball to them. I don't think you could say that about the U.S. Defenders, everyone was really comfortable on the ball.
I hate to break it to you, the U.S. is not even in this World Cup, so they haven't even done anything with the ball.
Which means we're not uncomfortable on it either,
Okay, good point.
We can still go undefeated in this World Cup as a nation.
But just for, there's more evidence of other countries and their their federations improving.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the U.S. not making it to the World Cup is an example of the improvement of all the other teams, all the other countries.
The gap is not as wide as it used to be between the large footballing countries and then the minnows.
And it's not just CONCACAF. That's what I'm saying. It's just between UEFA and AFC and the African Confederation. So there's improvement across the board, and a lot of teams. And I did not expect. I mean, Korea over Germany.
That's wild.
It's just crazy. I mean, they didn't make it through past the group stage. They needed Mexico to beat Sweden, and Korea would have made it.
If you listen to last week's episode, I was like, could you imagine South Korea? No, who beat Mexico?
Sweden.
I was like, imagine Sweden wins 4-0, and this is all upside down. And it was 3-0.
Yeah.
But it was exactly what happened.
Yeah.
South Korea beat Germany.
And they were very, very happy about it.
They were.
And that's the thing, is this is where I see, like, you see that passion in some of those sides, in some of those countries, where Korea, they didn't move on, but the fact that they beat Germany is such a pinnacle of their soccer history that will live on forever.
These guys, I should have. I'm not watching, but they should have returned home as somewhat heroes. They should have gotten a bit of a hero's return,
without a doubt. And I have one of my friends is living in Korea. My friend Amari, who listens to the show. What's up,
Hey,
Amari?
what's up, Amari?
But I was texting him, and he was like, he was upset because all the Koreans were upset that Mexico lost to Sweden, but they would have found some joy in Japan not getting through because Japan got through on the fair play.
right?
With over Senegal.
Right. So a little bit of rivalry.
So they were upset that Japan got through, but they were probably pretty happy when they lost. Koreans are not super supportive of Japanese people. I don't know the history. Don't get me involved. I don't want to get involved.
We're not the ones doing it. Okay.
That's what I heard. Okay, my homie, my Dominican homie out in Korea. All right, I got spies out there, and they're letting me know what's going on.
Dominicans have moles in every country, whether you like it or not.
So so Mexico lost to Brazil. That's the one thing I wanted to, there's too much going on. That's why I'm like staggering over here. But the fair play rule Japan gets in.
Senegal gets.
They have the same win, same points, same goal differential,
same tiebreakers,
same everything,
same points for, same goals against.
Yes.
And I believe there's one other. So the next tiebreaker, it's the 8th tiebreaker, if I'm not mistaken, or the 7th tiebreaker is FIFA fair play rules.
Yeah. So
which is the least amount of reds and yellows.
Yeah. And so Japan had two less yellow cards than Senegal. So they go in. Senegal left out of the knockout round.
And what's the dude's name? Cisse, right? The coach?
Yeah.
The Senegalese coach. He was like, no, they're a better team. You know, they knew that we all knew the rules coming in and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought that was super classy because, you know, I don't know that a South American coach would have said that. Like, this is garbage and we're suing and blah, 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 blah. Just to stir up some, like, you know, a little controversy for when they get back home. It doesn't look like it's their fault. That Cisse straight up took it on the chin.
Yeah, that is... I also think there is a pressure on the African nations on how they're viewed because for a lot of these nations, no one ever really thinks about them until we see them at the World Cup.
Right.
And there's a little bit of like if he was angry black coach being like this is ridiculous and going out and then
more of the same.
Yeah. And so yes, it's great that there's. That he was classy about it, but it's really disappointing
that there's a pressure for him to have to be that way.
That too, but losing out on the knockout round for this reason, it sort of created this debate is as if should this be the tiebreaker because this is officially the first time in World Cup history that the fair play rules have ever that the tiebreaker has ever been used.
Yeah.
So it just sucks to be the first to have to lose on
totally cool.
And there were 2 late yellows that they received, I think, against Japan in their group stage game. And as a coach, you can't really say, hey, don't take it easy out there, kids.
Don't try so hard, all right?
Don't hit this. You
never know how we're gonna win.
Senegal should I think the way Colombia thought. And at Senegal thought the same thing. I think even when we were doing the World Cup preview, we were like, "Oh, that's it. It's Colombia and Sweden most likely getting through." Nobody expected Japan to even get a point.
No.
And how fucking wrong were we?
Yeah, they won the group.
Did they win the group? I think Sweden won the group. Sweden won the group. Sweden won the group. Yes, because they won. They beat Mexico. That was the last game. They got 7 points, and I think Japan. No, wait. Am I getting something wrong?
Yeah,
no,
you have it right.
Yeah, that's right. Not Sweden. Who won the group? Colombia won the group. And Japan was second. They got it. Where am I getting Sweden from? Anyway,
which is why Japan played Belgium because they were first.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, forgot what I was gonna say. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
The fair play sucks that they got out. Japan. We were so wrong about Japan. Japan was so good. Japan.
This is why you listen to the Cooligans right here.
Japan against Belgium was one of the greatest soccer games I've ever seen in my life.
It was so much fun. So I watched this in a Japan bar.
Okay.
And that was not the place to see it. There were people crying afterwards. But when they scored, there were like 3 or 4 people that were just running back and forth, high-fiving everyone.
Yeah.
People were going absolutely insane. it did kind of. There was a lot of people there that were Japanese, and I don't think know soccer very well, and a lot of them were women. In this one section, there was a whole table of Japanese
Wait, Alexa,
women.
what are you saying? Women don't? Are you going to do this on this show right now?
I want you to know that it's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying their brains are too small to understand the game. No. What I'm saying is there was this table full of Japanese women, and they didn't know the sport very well, so they were screaming as a group.
Yeah.
At nothing. I mean, just like the ball rolling out of bounds, and they were going absolutely nuts.
That's great.
And I was texting with a friend of ours, and I said, "Yeah, God, it sounds like a fucking porn in here." You know what I mean? Because it's for no reason.
Now we know what your favorite category is.
Just for zero reason.
Asian women laughing. It's my favorite porn category.
Laughing. No, well, I guess yelling would be it. But they were just yelling for no reason. I was like, so it kind of took us all off guard every time it happened.
Okay.
Those of us who knew the game. And he knew I was in a Japanese bar, so he said, "Is the bar pixelated? Is that table pixelated?" Which is a great Japanese porn reference.
Great. I mean, you got some good friends.
I got some great friends. Yeah, comedian, you know who this person
But
is.
this game was incredible. Japan against Belgium, up 2-0. After the first goal, the first goal, which was incredible, which was I think Belgium totally underestimated Japan.
Yeah,
And-
I think Belgium's tactics were obvious. We're just going to let them pass themselves and run around to death.
Yeah.
We'll score after the 70th minute, which is what they did.
Yeah, and they are.
But they were already down 2-0.
They're like they took a little time to get the game plan started.
It's like a boxer who just like likes to throw a lot of jabs. Like, I'll find a couple openings, and then you take a couple hooks, and you're like, all right, well, I better start finding some of these openings.
I'll wait till round 9 to really get things going. The first goal, I thought Japan was gonna sort of win the way Korea won against Germany, where they were like, there's a couple scrums of ball bounces luckily their way,
Or a couple dead balls.
yeah, things like that. But no, Japan was like, nah, Thibaut,
Yeah.
Tim Thibaut Courtois
How about I take it right to you, my guy?
blasted it a bottom corner off that great like stutter step. I mean, you see stuff like that from, you expect a move like that from, I don't know, Stephon Marbury, like there was a little bit more poise and style than I expected from Japan.
Yeah, they had, and like I said, every player was comfortable on the ball that I could see. And not only that, they seem to have an idea that's like, all right, look, we can't go at them 100%, but we can still kind of punch. We can still swing on them.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun to see. It's like, look, they're not just, like as much fun as it is to watch Sweden, it is kind of a lot of the same thing. For the most part, they're kind of just like parking the bus. But when they get the ball, they're a different team.
Yeah.
But defensively, they're like, everyone get real tight together and go all the way back. Japan was like, nah, we got this.
Yeah, and again, you hear a lot of the stereotypes that come with certain the cultural stereotypes from different countries, and we were talking about this last week about how the African players are overmasculated, the Asian players are demasculated. They're always talking about how they don't really say that they're smaller and weaker. They just talk about how strong and tall the opposing team is.
Right.
So it's just like, all right, we get it. Yeah. Some of the Japanese guys lift some weights, all right? They're fine.
They got strength. We'll be all right.
But I did like that kind of display where they were like, no, whatever. Without a doubt, Romelu Lukaku, one of the largest, strongest strikers in the World Cup. Yes,
Fellaini.
Vertonghen,
a monster.
all these Belgian giants. Yes.
Vertonghen's header was ridiculous.
But those 2 goals from Japan, I haven't watched Japan my entire life or whatever, but
people don't know that you were Japanese for a long time.
I was Japanese last World Cup. I was Japanese.
Last World Cup.
I was my entire life. I was Japanese the last.
He's
World
gonna
Cup.
be Qatari next one. So,
but the fact that Japan played the way they did, I think, says a lot about how they want to be viewed to the rest of the world, to the rest of the soccer world.
yeah, even in losing, they made a statement.
Yes,
for sure.
But that second goal from Takashi Inui, who is going to Real Betis Balompié, right?
Balompié.
This summer, that's where he'll be.
Listen, he went on a free transfer.
Yeah.
His value skyrocketed in this World Cup.
Yeah.
That dude could ball.
Very much. And that
Ese japonés. That dude balls.
That's the goal was again, it was one of those they're not gonna do this. These Japanese guys, they don't have this kind of
It's like,
this kind of skill.
Take a couple steps back. Don't worry about it.
Blasted it by Thibaut Courtois. Loved it.
Courtois, I couldn't tell if the Japanese players were having the games of their lives or if Courtois just looked really bad.
No, it was the Japanese were better. They outdid Courtois for those 2 goals. I mean, and the rest of the Belgian team saved them. And the look on Roberto Martinez's face after the second goal was priceless. I mean, he was just like, for real?
Yeah.
For real?
Come on.
I loved every second of it, and it added to just more of that narrative of just like this World Cup is like, no, there's nothing's certain, nothing's definite.
No.
The fact that
Nasser Chadli's goal was like almost an exact replica of Landon Donovan's goal against Algeria.
I mean, without the dummy though was very different.
Well, sure, right? What was it? The Dempsey
Dempsey took a shot.
and it's basically right in the keeper's belly.
Yeah, but it was almost like
which is like an American dummy. Okay, I mean that's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, so deflection is called an American dummy.
It's an American dummy when you purposefully kick it against the goalkeeper's chest.
That's a drawn up play. Jurgen Klinsmann drew up that play.
That's how good Clint Dempsey is, my guy.
It's really a shame that Clint Dempsey wasn't given the assist on that goal because he had just as much to do with it as Landon Donovan.
This is why MLS does second assists and first assists, is so that we can tell when someone's purposefully hitting the keeper in the chest.
But no, Belgium does win this game 3-2. Jan Vertonghen gets that goal, which
he had no idea he was scoring.
He had no idea he was scoring.
It was like the Ben Sweat goal against Red Bull.
More of a cross.
Yeah, he was sort of heading the ball back in the middle. It's like just heading back into the danger zone.
Really?
And they'll do something with it, and all of a sudden you hear, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was. It was not a shot, but it was absolutely perfect. It was put in a place that the keeper, there was just no way he could reach it. But I also think that the keeper played way too close to the near post.
Yeah.
On that one, like he has a defender on him. He's not gonna. The ball's flying in the air. There's no way he's gonna get any real pace on it to head it to the near post.
No.
Without you, he should have cheated a little bit far to the far post.
But legit, if he tried to do that, he would have now done it. If he tried it 100 times, he wouldn't have gotten it. Maybe 99.9% of the time, he wouldn't have gotten it.
And then Fellaini, who everyone hates,
me included, signs a contract with the Manchester United until 2020. Everyone's laughing at them.
But yeah, when it matters,
my guy's like, I got this. What is this, World Cup? All right, let me start playing.
Okay, yeah, put me in. Yeah, in the 75th minute, and I'll start. I'll get going.
That's when I'll show up. He's the Alan Gordon.
He is. He's
of Belgium.
Has Alan Gordon been playing professional soccer longer than Fellaini?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so, right?
I believe
Alan Gordon has been in the league for, I think, 42 years.
42, yeah. Before it started, which is, you know how difficult that is. Again, it was just...
The NASL legend, Alan Gordon.
I can't remember the dude's name. What's the dude's name in... That's going to ruin the joke. What's the dude's name in Houston? DeMarcus Beasley. It was just him and DeMarcus Beasley kicking the ball back and forth to each other, and they're like, "Look at them go, MLS."
They are the Morgan Freeman of soccer. Both of them have never been young.
Yeah, nope. And they've always been around.
But the final goal from Nasser Chadli,
it literally was the last thing that happened in the game. I mean, that's just
Thibaut Courtois does the Tim Howard rollout,
springs the attack, rolls the ball, and it's
to
just
Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne is like, all right, let's do this.
De Bruyne is like, all right, I am one of the best midfielders in the world. Time for me to show up as well.
Yeah, because he did not do much in that game.
Takes off. I forget how it gets to. How does it get to the dummy? Who sends that cross?
I forgot who sends the cross.
Nonetheless, I mean, Romelu Lukaku, you got to have balls of steel to just lift your leg and let that ball go.
And if you haven't seen the FIFA, the top camera angle of that goal and the Romelu Lukaku run, it is a master class on how to play this damn sport. It's really I know Nasser Chadli gets that goal.
But it's only because all the defenders have been dragged to Romelu Lukaku.
Exclusively only because Romelu Lukaku draws so much attention and makes the absolutely perfect run to create the space for even make that for De Bruyne to make the pass, and then the dummy is just brilliance.
It's already making my head hurt. How like the game is ending. This is the World Cup.
Yeah, and he didn't have the greatest of games either.
No. And you lift your leg. You don't even make an attempt on the ball. He could have kicked the ball off a defender and gotten a corner, which is what I think a lesser like center forward would have done.
Yeah.
He lifts his leg, allows it to travel underneath, and just lets it go, and has all the faith in the world that Nasser Chadli is behind him.
Yeah, but
he was.
But Lukaku, if you see him during the run, he is like. He's like a point guard without the ball.
Yeah.
In what he's doing. You see him as soon as De Bruyne is halfway up their side of the field, he starts running from the left side. Like if you're looking down from the
if you're Thibaut Courtois.
The Japanese side goal.
Oh, okay.
So you're looking that way. So you're the goalkeeper. I'm looking forward. I see Lukaku. He's running. As soon as De Bruyne has the ball, Lukaku goes from the left side down to the middle, and he does like a curve. He draws the defender that's close to Chadli.
Yeah.
He has a defender on him.
But he brings the second defender with him.
He brings a second that he goes towards Nasser Chadli's defender.
Which, by the way, everyone in the world thinks this ball's coming directly to Romelu Lukaku.
Yes. So
including these two defenders.
Because obviously, right? You see him, he curves in, draws Chadli's defender, pulls him towards him. Now Lukaku goes, now because he did that, now De Bruyne can make that pass to the winger. The winger, Lukaku starts running towards the ball, draws that second defender, and as soon as the cross comes in, dummies it. And it is totally perfect. And again, at that moment, at the end of the game, to do that is... That is just a brilliant move, and I know. And shout out to Zito on Twitter, writes for SB Nation.
Yeah,
and he pointed out. He made a funny joke about how we always talk about the African players' power and pace and all this other stuff, and it's like, but that had nothing to do with power and
but
pace.
also Romelu Lukaku's Belgian.
So. Yes, but quote unquote Belgian. Yeah. I mean, it's, was he born in Belgium? I think he was.
I think he was.
He was. His parents are not. So props to him, man, because it was one of the more that, and like I want to say, is it Pavard? I forgot his first name. Pavard from France.
Curly-haired defender.
Yes.
What is he? The right back.
That goal. I mean, the brilliance.
Another person who had no idea what they were doing kicked that ball, and they were like, "Oh my god!" Probably looked down at his foot like, "Whoa, you had that in you?
Whoa, I didn't know I had that feature.
I could have been a forward this whole time. I could have been a striker.
I'm playing the wrong. Put me in the up front, coach.
What button did I just hit?" I think one of the things that frustrates me most about people who don't like soccer, they'll watch that Belgium goal and they'll think, "Well, that's cool," and I don't think they'll realize just how special it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be able to realize exactly what Romelu Lukaku did. That was absolutely incredible.
It was incredible. All right, now let's also. So we just mentioned France. The homie, Lionel Messi.
Good, big fan of ours.
Big fan of ours.
Big fan of the Cooligans.
He's done the show about 42 times.
Oh my God, so many. We have again the recorder keeps breaking, so we haven't been able to air them.
But he's a big fan of the Cooligans. Lionel Messi out of the World Cup.
Maybe now it's time he can come to MLS All-Star, hang out. How about this? You know what I just realized?
What?
If Cristiano Ronaldo really does sign with Juventus, that's 2 years in a row he's coming to the MLS All-Star.
Oh yeah. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He didn't. No, but he didn't. But Ronaldo didn't play.
2 years that he could have.
He could have. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's even if he could be with the team for a decade, he'd be like, "No, I'm not."
We could vote him into the MLS All-Star.
He's like, no.
And he's like,
"No, thanks."
It's cool and everything, but nah.
Nah. France defeats Argentina 4-3, and the Pavard goal, yes, exciting, but really, Mbappe is the story in this game. Just the horse, the galloping goddamn pony that is Kylian Mbappe.
One of my favorite things about, first of all, I mean, I don't know what else he could do to remind me, besides wear his jersey to remind me more of Thierry Henry at a young age. You know, when Thierry Henry started, he was so fast. It's like someone like you could just give him the ball and you know he's going to finish because he's an expert finisher.
And Mbappe has more of a Paul Pogba gallop as opposed to Thierry Henry was fast, but like he had to take more strides. It seems like Mbappe takes like 3-4 strides, and you're the road runner. Like your feet are just going crazy.
You're gassed. You're exhausted. Your Fitbit has way more steps than his Fitbit at the end of every play.
Yeah, it's like, but he's getting more distance.
Yeah. One of the things that I love watching is, you know, France for the most part, it seems like they don't really have an idea of what their system is, but they figured out one thing: if we're all over here and Mbappe's over there, and we just kick it somewhere in that direction, yo, Mbappe gonna get it. And he is such, I mean, what is he, 20?
No, he's 19.
19. Another expert finisher. This guy, he's just so smart, whether to draw a penalty or whether to put the ball on frame and to test the keeper. He's just one of those guys that I watch, and I'm like, you know, I don't care if he had the pace. I don't care if he did it by going central, like more of a Messi style. He is just one of those dudes that when he gets in front of goal, I'd be putting everything I own on the line that he's going to score.
Yeah, I mean, it was an entertaining game. It was entertaining to watch.
Unless you're Argentinian.
Look, I was hoping Argentina were not. I was hoping that it wasn't as much of the shambles that I sort of kind of expected it to be. That
was hard to watch.
It's not just Messi, obviously Messi cannot carry this team.
And can we stop blaming Sampaoli?
But can we start blaming Sampaoli?
It's not his fault.
I'm
a Sampaoli stan.
In any scenario, when it comes to coaches and system and structure, you would immediately blame the coach on any other team.
Except this coach. This coach can do no wrong.
We didn't talk about this last week. What happened to the mutiny? The mutiny.
So which is why I'm saying it's not his fault. Coach Messi got his first loss, and he got booted out of the World Cup all in the same game.
We know you love Sampaoli, but Sampaoli...
I hope, I beg, I plead, please come to the U.S. men's national team. Please prove all these dummies wrong.
After that display, I don't know. I mean, also, Dave Sarachan just got an extension to the end of the year.
Yeah, but that's just so they have more time to talk to Sampaoli.
Everybody loves. It seems like the players are really getting along with Dave Sarachan. I don't know. It's not that crazy.
No, it is. It's absolutely
insane.
Give him a shot. I love Dave Sarachan. Thank you for coming on our podcast, but no, that's not happening. Not happening at all. He'll eat a garbage plate before he becomes a men's national.
This game was strange, right? Because with France and Argentina and all the lead up of what was going on with Sampaoli in the background, where the rumors were that basically, I mean, I'm just exaggerating probably, but that was Messi was picking the starting lineup, picking the bench, picking who the coaching staff was going to be, basically, right?
Yeah.
Sampaoli was just there like, yo, put on a tight shirt and just walk around a little bit.
Sampaoli's like, can I just show my sleeve tattoos? I'm like, yeah, all right, fine.
Also, manager with sleeve tattoos? I don't know about that.
The greatest.
All right.
What other coach looks like rides a Harley home?
Well, I did read something. I forgot who wrote it, or I may have seen it. Maybe it was like a Fox Sports thing or something about the tattoos, that they say that athletes shouldn't get tattoos because it goes into your bloodstream and can affect your actual physical play, and
we've seen that in the NBA. These guys are covered head to toe.
They say that there's a small percentage of efficiency that you lose, like from stamina and stuff like that.
So it might be true with J.R. Smith. We'll see.
But how can you not blame Sampaoli in this game? No Higuain, no Paulo Dybala. Sergio Aguero doesn't start this game. How could he not be to blame?
Because apparently he's not the one who picked that team.
Okay. And you're fine with that? You're fine with a coach being humiliated that way and being told like, "Yo, you're not running this. I'm the captain now."
It
right?
is just a learning experience for when he wins the World Cup with the U.S. men's national team.
Any other coach would be like, "You can't show weakness amongst anybody. How dare you?"
No, think of the strength he showed by letting them pick the team. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure.
exemplary is what I would say.
Wow. You've turned a new leaf, Alexis.
Can I just say something? When I was talking about Sampaoli, the majority of the people listening to this podcast didn't even know who he is. Now, all of a sudden, everyone's an expert and says he's terrible at his job because he had one little bad run, okay? And it wasn't even, wasn't even a fault.
One little bad run and, qualifying was a nightmare.
I'm sorry that Messi won it last time and Sampaoli ruined it for him. Get out of here.
A bummer. Felt bad because we have no Messi in the World Cup and we also have no Ronaldo in the World Cup.
We have no Ronaldo in the World Cup.
Uruguay.
We have no Messi. We have, but we do have Uruguay.
Mr. Chompers.
Yeah.
That's what we call him, Mr. Chompers.
El Pistolero. Also the biter. I think it's upside down. To me, it's going to be Brazil versus Uruguay, and I think that's going to be a beautiful thing because remember that was the final of the first World Cup ever,
World Cup, yeah.
which Uruguay won. What up, bang bang. That's going to be what the final. That's going to dictate who plays the final from that bracket. So I'm excited.
Okay, and we have to obviously talk about Spain and Russia.
4 teams nobody wanted to see competing: Russia versus Croatia. Sweden versus England. This could either be.
I mean, don't say nobody. I mean,
yeah, obviously 4 countries, but that's about it. Look, I think this could be either the easiest route for England or the most embarrassing route for England. Out of the World Cup.
Seeing this, you can't really understand why England can't get to the final fairly easily after that Colombia game.
Well, Croatia's a tough team, and Russia maybe is upping the dosage. Remember we talked about this? Putin's hitting that little. What's that button you get when you go to the hospital? You give yourself
morphine.
Yeah. Oh, he's hitting but it's going to all the players when he hits it. It's just more dosage. He's
it's just like
more horse tranquilizer.
Fast and Furious when they hit the nitrous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all the veins pop out on all the Russian players' necks. I think Russia can beat Croatia. I don't think they're going to. I think it's going to be Croatia versus England.
But before that, Spain. They defeated Spain in penalties 4-3.
Right.
Spain looked awful this game.
Is that Sampaoli's fault too?
I don't mind blaming him, to be honest. Yeah. No, this is clearly the Lopetegui effect. Lopetegui was home like, yeah, sí. Me gusta, right? Me gusta, right?
Así es.
Spain leaving the World Cup to Russia. I mean, you'll understand they didn't get out of the group stage last World Cup, right?
Yeah.
With Spain, and so you understand that they may have not gotten that far, especially with their coaching, the coaching vacancy that was the emergency vacancy that they had, but. You're Spain. You don't lose to Russia. Come on. Russia, we're not.
Also, you're Russia. You can't beat Spain.
They know that.
Come on. Remember when their manager was like, this is the worst group we have. We're not even going to make it out of the group stages.
Just already quitting on them before.
So y'all just beat Spain.
They beat Spain. And
So let me get this right. Russia gets a 5th game. Sweden gets a 5th game. Mexico.
The Russians had signs that said "Quinto partido."
Yeah.
Like, why you have to do it in our language though?
I mean, first of all, your A's look really weird, but wow, that's very disrespectful.
But how do you feel about Spain losing to Russia? Because obviously it's a bigger deal for Spain to lose to Russia than for Russia to beat Spain. That's my opinion.
I agree, but I think this is World Cup 2018, baby.
Yeah.
Up is down, down is up. I mean, if Spain would have won, we all would have been like, ew. An actual a result everyone expected.
Sure,
that's not fun.
Yeah, even when Belgium won against Japan, I'm like, yo, that's the wrong move.
Yeah, no, that's not how it's supposed to go.
Okay, all
Japan
right.
was supposed to score that goal late.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewind because I DVR'd it. I'm gonna rewind it, so I want the writers to fix this show because this is not the way it's supposed to go.
Maybe you'll get it right the next season. Okay.
Okay. But the fact that Spain completed, I believe, was something about 400,000 passes in this game.
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take. I'm pretty sure it's more give than take. But the fact that I don't even know. Like they
did what they always do. They passed themselves to death, and then they just had no one that could finish.
They really didn't.
They also had no idea how to finish. They were like, all right, we're just supposed to keep passing the ball around. At some point, people give us points.
I mean, some people were like, well, when you don't bring David Villa on the team, I mean, that's it. That's the result. You shouldn't expect
we
anything.
didn't say. Yeah, Sampoli would have bought him. And I know that because Sampoli brought Mascherano, who's also very old.
So all right. So who do we have left? Really?
So it's Russia versus Croatia.
Yeah, that Croatia Denmark game was pretty entertaining. I mean, it was,
also with the penalties, which was kind of cool. 2 in a day.
Yeah, that game I was at a bar and there was a Danish guy. I posted
who everyone on the internet thinks is Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp. Which I mean, what are you gonna do? Everybody in that region with a blonde beard looks the exact same way. I don't know what to tell you.
Look,
they're all 6'8". Great hair and blonde beards.
Maybe the Danes can learn a little something from the South Koreans and switch jerseys. Because no one knows any difference between all of you.
We wouldn't have hated you for it.
Nope.
Okay.
We would have applauded you.
So, but yeah, when the penalty that was given to who I forgot who was the forward that they got fouled, but when Croatia they were awarded a penalty towards the end, and I didn't understand how the defender was not given a red card because he tackled him from behind, but he did make a play for the ball. So that is the rule now.
Yeah.
If they at least go for the ball,
you got to at least try.
And it's the last and you're the last defender.
Yeah.
You awarded the penalty, but
you don't get a red.
You don't get a red. You just get a yellow. It's crazy to me because he looked like he literally like tackled from behind. He caught the player. I mean, it's weird to say that he was going for the ball because
as he was dragging another human being down to the ground. Yeah.
So whatever, but he just
kicks his little foot out.
He did make a reasonable attempt to the ball, but he went through a human being to get to it.
Yeah.
So even though that was the case, but once the Luka Modric took the penalty, the Danish guy, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, let me record this penalty, and the Danish guy happened to be right there. I was like, oh, let me record what his reaction is, and luckily the keeper stopped it, and
he had a full blown orgasm. He was like,
he literally dropped to his knees and whatnot. It was a beautiful thing to see.
That's what it's all about.
That's World Cup is giving people orgasms. So
that's it.
I mean, that's really what it's all about.
That's what we do. That's why we're here.
We're here about them goals and them orgasms.
Yeah, son.
Nothing more. Okay.
Nothing less.
So these are the quarterfinals. We are going to have just 8 games remaining.
Yeah. So by the next time we speak, Uruguay will have beaten France. Brazil will have beaten Belgium. Russia will have probably beaten Croatia, unfortunately, and England will probably have beaten Sweden. Although that's one of the teams that could probably give him trouble.
It will. I mean, seeing the trouble that they had with, I think Sweden's going to be less trouble than Colombia. That's my guess. But
I do not want this tournament to end. I am so sad that it's down to 8 teams only.
It's too goddamn entertaining.
This is so good. And you know what pisses me off is we're going to have a really boring final because of all this.
Yeah.
You know it. It's going to be defensive and
I mean, who could possibly
if it's Brazil versus
look, England should get out of their bracket, right? So at least we could set up to have the hope is that at least it took for and we're just rooting for an entertaining final. If you're just rooting for an entertaining final, I think England Brazil is the most entertaining final you could have.
England Croatia, I can make a
for entertainment value.
Yeah. Come on, Luka Modric?
No, I mean, but storylines, football's coming home. Okay?
That's not the only storyline. Brazil needs to, make good for that horrible showing in their home country.
No, so that's what I'm saying. But Brazil, England is better than Brazil, Croatia. Would you argue that? I mean,
I would. I would say that you could make a point. You could argue that Croatia is a better matchup. I'm going to go with, I do think Brazil, England is probably better, but I don't want to see England in the final. I don't want them to have any chance of winning. Just because their fans are so obnoxious.
Well, my hope is that regardless of how far England gets, that the England fans will show a little bit more support for those players.
Oh yeah, for the
You
first
guys
time.
won your first penalty shootout in forever.
Yeah.
No, I think it's the first World Cup penalty shootout that they've won.
Yeah, that's been a bogey for them forever.
Yeah. So the fact that these young players that are trying their best, and Raheem Sterling, who is the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
He buys his mom a house. What an awful young man.
He only shops at like regular stores. Did you know that? He doesn't wear like really expensive clothing. He shops at like H&M type stuff out there, and they make fun of him for
Disgusting. How dare he?
What a terrible human being.
What a
Can this guy do nothing right?
There was just a thing I wanted to bring up very quickly about Raheem Sterling, because obviously he's a major focus of the World Cup, but he had recently written that piece on the Players Tribune, and again we were talking about this before about all the criticism that Raheem Sterling deals with in the media, and one of somebody decided to write an article about why they were like, the article that he wrote for Players Tribune, which he talked about how poor he was growing up and his mother scrubbed toilets to help them survive. Somebody wrote an article about the Players Tribune, the Raheem Sterling Players Tribune article, saying, yeah, it was a great article, but did he actually write it? The level of just it's
not even scrutiny anymore at this point. It's disrespect.
It's disrespect. Like, yes, maybe he told, maybe, people have ghostwriters.
Maybe he dictated it, or maybe
it
he might have just typed it up in like notes and sent it to someone who's maybe a bit more professional
and proofread it.
You know who else does that? Everyone else. Yeah, you think journalists don't have assistants that proofread?
Yes, you don't think politicians who write, you think they sit down and write their own books?
Get out of town.
They do not do that.
Come on. You think Zlatan wrote his own book?
You think Zlatan wrote his own book?
No.
Okay.
He kicked the pages and the words appeared. We know how it works.
All right. Gods don't have pens.
Don't make me defend an England player. Please don't.
So it's just absurd. And this is what the English players have to deal with. So if to that extent, I'm like, look, at least be nice to them. They're really trying.
I mean, look, the English media is never going to be nice to them, but I mean, at the very least, I mean, we're talking about whether
but English cynicism has to take over the entire country and the culture and their lives, and it's like, yo, can you put it on pause for a second?
Yeah, just let these guys play this tournament. That means a lot to you.
Yeah, and like any other.
And then once that's done, go ahead, ask him if he drives his own car.
You know what? The Colombians are devastated that they didn't get past England to the quarterfinals. But you know what? Those players, when they get back to Colombia, are gonna be there's gonna be a warm welcome, a thank you for doing what you did in the World Cup and representing us well, even after the first game, and it was always an uphill battle, but they won the group. And there's still a lot of love and support for La Selección, right?
Yeah.
Which is that's the comparison in how sort of like Latin American countries, and this is not every single English speaking country or whatever, but Latin American countries, the love that they have for their national teams, they don't take it for granted.
Other than Argentina.
Okay, yeah, that very much so.
Yeah, Argentina really is very European because there's not a lot of love there for that team.
I mean, that's Argentina is basically West Germany.
If Germany and Italians had babies and all of them were related to Mussolini and that other guy,
so yes, I'm rooting for that. I'm hoping for the English fan base to just to do their best and show some appreciation to those players.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to happen, but I hope so.
So, all right, so that's it. So we have
a great interview.
Great interview.
Yeah,
the Hudson River Derby's coming up this weekend, so we brought the homie or the enemy.
He's a little bit of both, but he is a homie.
The honemy.
Yeah, the henemy.
Mark Fishkin, he's a great dude, host of Seeing Red, a popular New York Red Bulls podcast, and we got to talk about the Derby a little bit. And we know,
he won't stop talking about the Red Bulls, and he brings up a lot of stats, but he loves his team. And one of the things that we appreciate is that these are people that are doing content for their own clubs, Yeah. And we've been on his podcast before.
We have not been on his podcast.
No? He's been on ours before.
He's been on ours. Yeah.
He's been on ours. I know we've talked to him.
But this time we got him in studio. We got face to face. Really asked him the tough questions.
We broke bottles. We had knives.
we all held weapons as we did this interview.
It was just all three of us holding sandwich boards. All
right, so let's get right to it, to our interview with Mark Fishkin right after this.
Yeah, baby, thank you so much for listening to the Cooligans. We just have a little word from one of our sponsors. I think you guys might remember this one.
Yeah, for Hims.
Yeah.
Hims is back repping the Cooligans.
They are firm.
They are stable.
They are ready to go.
They are strong. If you want to be strong.
If you want to be super veiny. Here's the issue. Look, guys over the age of 35 are starting to lose their hair. Guys of all ages might start losing their hair. Certainly, maybe downstairs doesn't work as well as it used to.
Yeah,
happens to the best of them. Christian, not me.
That's right. I'm losing all my pubic hair.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah, I need it. And his scalp is super hard,
like a rock
like
up
a
there.
rock. Nothing gets through that, especially when some Jade gets put on.
No, but yes, we joke around a lot, but no, this is a serious issue for a lot of men.
Yes.
And Hims is sponsoring the show and helping out our listeners, our male listeners or lady listeners that have a gentleman that might be having a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, maybe you notice your man's hair is maybe starting to thin, starting to get a bald spot back there, or maybe getting that 2-car driveway, whatever. You could be the one to tell them. And look, a lot of those dudes, and the reason why we joke around about it is because it's uncomfortable for us. Sometimes, look, it's uncomfortable for other people.
Yeah.
They don't want to be seen going to the doctor. They don't want to be seen going to the pharmacist to get those pills. Why would you do that when 4Hims exists?
Yes.
Okay? You go to 4hims.com/Cooligans-ED, and you're going to get a bunch of stuff. Right now, you're going to get a trial month of Hims for just $5. Right now, while supplies last.
Exactly,
$5.
and just to clarify, like Hims you're talking to an actual doctor. You're actually getting real support and real consultation. It's not just some.
It's not the dude at the bodega grabbing a pill behind him.
Oh, look, this works very well.
Yeah. No, my cousin uses. He's got 17 babies. None of that.
No,
this is real.
It's a real.
stuff.
You're gonna be connected with a real person, a real doctor that will be able to help you and consult you with any of your hair loss or sexual health needs. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, 4hims.com/Cooligans-ED, and you get your first month offer for $5.
$5.
Sign up today.
Come on, get that dick right. Yeah, baby, we're back.
Oh, we are, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to have this man in the building.
As am I, and I think the fans of his show won't believe us, or they'll try to fight us at the Russian tea room, but which happened. We'll tell you about it. But this guy's been podcasting what now? 8 years?
9 years.
9 years.
Okay.
This dude, OG MLS podcast. You've had multiple partners, and they've all died mysteriously. And now you're doing
His
it
children
so,
haven't seen him in 9 years specifically.
9 years. If you guys are Red Bull fans, even if you're not Red Bull fans, and maybe you're just a fan of MLS content, I guarantee you've seen this guy over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, unless you're driving, put your hands together for the host of Seeing Red, Mark Fishkin, everybody.
Hello.
Marky Mark.
How are you?
Marky Mark and the Red Bunch.
There you go.
Well, that's good, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
I know you often do NYCFC podcasts. I mean, even though this is not specifically an NYCFC podcast, you do occasionally I feel like that happens, right? Where people
During
call in.
crossover week?
Yeah, that happens occasionally. It's not like a weird thing, right?
It's not. Listen, we're focused on the Red Bulls.
Yeah.
It's 3 games a year, or in this case, 4 games a year.
Sure.
With NYCFC, and so I
You got to
would
bring up the number
imagine-
4 already, huh?
Absolutely. So yeah, I think there's some Blue fans that may be a little interested in what's going on the correct side of the river. So
All right.
I think you said the correct side of the river.
no, I said
Well-
what made you? And I'm sure you've answered this question a bunch. What made you want to get into podcasting at the era that you did? And also, you seem to have outlasted a lot of content from that era. What made you continue?
Well, first of all, I think what made me got into it was back in the day when podcasting was just starting. I was appearing as the Red Bull guy on a couple of very nascent league-wide shows, like Around the League. There was a podcast network called the Champion Soccer Radio Network. There was actually a soccer comedy game show called Winning Ugly that was super, super fun to do. And when the Red Bulls moved into Red Bull Arena from Giant Stadium, it seemed like the perfect time to really start focusing on that team exclusively. As we know, they struggle for attention in this market.
Yeah.
As NYCFC does for a lot of ways as well, despite all the efforts of everyone at the club.
Yeah, look, a naked woman walking down Times Square would struggle for attention. This city's a lot to do. There's a lot to see in this city.
There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of teams, and there's fewer mainstream media people and time and space and inches than ever before. And so, and I started doing the show in 2010 when the stadium opened. That was 4 ex-hosts ago. And I'm currently doing the show with a fantastic guy named Joe Goldstein, who also does a show called Raising Bulls on Red Bulls 2 specifically, which is pretty cool. And it's just part of the circadian rhythm of my life. It's midweek and we're talking about the Red Bulls, and thankfully the people at the team have been terrific in terms of getting us coaches and players and media and things like that. So
we know all about that. The team helping us.
Everyone's a big help here.
So supportive.
I'm staring right at the camera.
So supportive.
You can't hear that on the show.
But over time, just building a positive relationship with the team has been
all right.
important.
So I'll ask this: given that you've been doing this for as long as you have, and we'll get into the specifics of the team itself,
Sure.
but being a journalist in American soccer for as long as you have,
Yes.
You're sort of considered one of like the OGs, right?
Yeah,
I
gray
feel
hair,
like,
man.
I feel like when
You've earned that. You've earned those stripes.
when I look at the Twitter timeline and Mark Fishkin put something out, even if it's something about the league in its entirety, there's like a little bit more of all right, well, we gotta listen to what this guy's saying.
That's the lieutenant speaking.
It's very kind.
So, what in general, how do you feel about your time in this game so far and your contribution? And do you because I know we've been doing this for 3 years, and even to some extent, we feel like, we're making some sort of a dent or an impact in like how people view the game to some degree.
Yes.
But there's people who've been doing it a lot longer, and my hope is that when we're doing it 9 years, we're not like, oh boy, we just wasted 9 years of our life.
Right. Well, I think first of all, if you love what you do, it's not work, right?
Okay.
I think we all know that. And
You are talking to 2 stand-up comedians.
there you go. So you know.
No, it's not work because you have to get paid in order for it to be considered work.
Yeah. But at the beginning and end of the day, it's serving an audience that has a need.
Right.
Right? The game ends, and short of going on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and venting your spleen, there isn't really a whole lot of other places you can go to interact with like-minded fans about the game, and about the team specifically. So for us, we're providing. It's a public service in some way because there's so little mainstream media coverage of this team. And I've had back and forths with editorial staffs at the area's great newspapers, large and small, and they basically say, not enough people care. Sorry. So for me, because I like to think myself as plugged into this fan base, I don't always agree with everyone in the fan base, and they certainly don't always agree with me. Alex Muil is a case in point. But but by and large, I really feel like it's important to continually serve them, to be there every week. I'm going
to just do the Alex Muir right now. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't hear anything Mark's saying right now.
There are some weeks where, because real life intervenes, we can't do the show, and we hear it. What's going on? Where are you guys? What's going on? So we know we're an important part of people's lives, and really that's what helps me come back every week.
Okay.
And every season.
What have you noticed? Maybe just like 1 or 2 things that you think has changed in the league that is in your time that's for the positive, and some things that you think are for the negative.
Sure. For the positive, I think the investment in youth development has been a massive thing. I mean, remember,
and you guys, look, to give you guys some plaudits, Red Bull lead the charge.
It's been a chief driver in terms of how successful. Yeah, I like
lead
that.
the charge.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
it's been a chief driver in terms of
show's over.
Close it up. Thank you, Mark, for being here.
We're not gonna top that, so we just have to end right now.
There you go. But the 2 teams have been really important in the success of the first team, especially over the last 2 or 3 years, where the whole franchise in particular has swung that way. That said, I think the only way that MLS is going to continue its upward growth potential, especially in a world where the league is built out, right? We're going to get there soon.
Yeah.
And the critics of the league that decry it as a Ponzi scheme that only exists on the backs of expansion fees, at a certain point, there won't be any more of those. And so, the more billionaires you attract to this league and multimillionaires and massively famous ownership groups like LAFC has, I think there's a real ownership, a real notion that those folks now have to turn their attention to digging into the youth in those markets and outside those markets. There are only 20 U.S.-based teams this year. There are a lot more than 20 strong youth soccer markets, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And so for like Salt Lake is doing, they have an academy in Arizona that actually funnels people to the big club in Utah, right? I know in the eastern part of the country, our cities are all jam-packed close to each other, and the geographical territories with NYC and Red Bull and Philadelphia, frankly, for that matter, kind of are right on top of each other.
Yeah.
But you move out of the eastern seaboard, there's a lot of room for a lot of kids to be getting really good professional development. So that's one thing that I really like that's definitely changed since we started. The thing that I like less is the continued lack of transparency about how the business is done. And being that we're inside this American soccer bubble, we know that there's, whether they're a vocal minority or a vocal large minority, there are a lot of people that despise everything that the league stands for because of their business practices. And I'm not saying that, I'm not going to say the bro-frel word here, so people doing the semantic search won't be able to see that. But there are ways, aside from doing that MLS and U.S. soccer can really start to overcome the massive amount of frustration that's built up by a lot of American soccer fans about how the game's run in this country.
Is there any particular thing that should be more transparent that is not? I mean, I know when we were at MLS Cup, Alexi Lalas asked the question of Garber about the Columbus Crew, and wasn't it disingenuous that they didn't mention that there was a provision to move the team to Austin, and Garber
it got sticky when those cameras got turned off.
He was not happy with that question.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
and certainly the wording of it.
Well, and good for Lawless for asking it. I know a lot of people deride him as being kind of clowny, but he also is a bit of a bomb thrower too, and he's comfortable in that situation. For me, we're just watching now NBA free agency just open.
Yeah.
This week, right?
Which is more important than the World Cup.
Not in my house. But
and they're all taking the Real Madrid Barcelona model in NBA.
Well, that's right. And so you have LeBron going to Lakers 4 years and X amount of money. No MLS contract terms are shared publicly.
Yeah.
They're starting to share, yes, this $400,000 chit is now being exchanged between teams, and that's great. Yeah. But, Sean Davis of the Red Bulls, I know NYCFC fans know him, right? Know who he is? Yeah.
Akira?
Okay.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
We might have heard of him.
Akira. But, he signed a new deal. And until the Players Union releases, this is what the size of his current salary is, nobody knows. It's a new deal. For how many more years? I don't know. How much money? I don't know. And so when you're talking about fans that want to get that next level engagement with the team, it has to be a little more than here are the players and here's the youth. And when a player gets sold, we certainly know that. But it's hard to talk hot stove and it's hard to adequately value deals within the league if we literally don't know this is his, this is player X's option year. He's got to show now, right?
Right.
Because he doesn't know whether he's going to have a job with this team next year. And that just is muted.
Okay.
Across the league. So that's one thing that changed.
Yeah, we just focus on did he rent a house on 48th Street?
Yeah.
Okay, I think based on his girlfriend.
Stalk that Instagram feed and get an idea.
So he's definitely
he's making an
he's
investment.
doing okay.
It's a doorman. I mean, that's clearly I think one of the toughest things for us being fans,
playing Red Bulls.
No. Okay. Again, we're universal. We are national.
I see that
podcast.
shirt over there. I see that.
Shout out to Dudes in Blue. They sent us.
Yeah,
that's nice. That would be a 400 goals.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not all with NYC.
Again, we're impartial. But we're fans of the league, right?
Yes, as am I.
And we've been fans of the league. I followed the league a little bit beforehand. And Christian, bits and pieces. Certainly, we came into the league with NYCFC, so we don't hide from that. But look, in the last 3 years, we've noticed, or last 3.5 years, we've noticed some things change. We've noticed some things get more open. I think for us, one of the big frustrations is it does seem like sometimes you're sort of just yelling into the ether. You're yelling into a void, and nothing's ever coming back to you. Every once in a while, we get some stuff back. Certainly, when you start, you've seen this for a long time.
Yeah.
We're noticing in the last year and a
Things
half,
are
and
picking up.
it might just be us, it might not. That's what I'm asking. Like, it seems like there's so much more attention being put on the league. So many more people are coming to the league. Are you noticing that as well?
Through my lens, I would say no, frankly.
Okay.
But again, I have a very specific team-specific lens.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yes, obviously Atlanta's blown everyone away. I mean,
72,000,
they're
it's insane.
Atlanta, they're Seattle of 2018, right?
Yeah.
And 9 years ago, it was Seattle blowing everyone away. I think when Zlatan comes and scores that ridiculous goal, people's antenna perk up for just 1 second, right? But I think that the larger question is, do we want to be known as the retirement homes for the Wayne Rooneys and the Zlatan Ibrahimoviches, or if Tyler Adams jumps?
According to Red Bull Team Tifos, they make it very clear they don't want that with the Pirlo and Lampard tifo.
Well, which was wonderful. And listen,
Oh, was it?
I think it brought a lot of attention to the league.
I think so,
Certainly.
too.
And there's no way that NYC fans can look back fondly on Lampard's time here and be like, this was wonderful.
Well, Lampard at least scored a couple goals. Pirlo, complete failure.
That
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah.
That jump on that free
Sold a
kick.
couple tickets.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was
Yeah.
nice of him.
Well, and that's
Somebody cheered for him. That was kind of cool.
and that's something to consider as well, right? It's year 4 for you guys, and there's no illusion that the Red Bulls are having trouble bringing fans in this year, and I have some good reasons why that is. City's attendance isn't killing it either,
No.
and I think part of that is because of the role of the media in the market. Part of it is less so for the red side, but I see plenty of blue gear walking around when I walk around Manhattan. But general awareness of this is a quality entertainment product and quality soccer product, and I want to invest my time on a bi-weekly basis to go see this. It struggles.
Yeah, but during the World Cup, I feel like across the league in its entirety, there's been more attention. You
Yeah.
see more people there. I mean, the last Red Bull home game I saw, there were just a lot more people there.
Yep.
I forgot who they played. But so let's talk about these two teams.
Okay.
And how they match up against each other.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Our times at Red Bull Arena this year have not been too fun.
Did they shut off the air conditioner in here? Seems to be
I
getting
even
warm.
went and I hung out with some friends from Timbers Army that played when the Timbers
Yeah.
went into Red Bull Arena.
Yeah, they didn't score a goal either.
And also were scored 4. Every time I go, they score 4
Yeah.
goals.
Stop going to the game.
Please come. Please come.
Stop
It's
going to the
good.
game.
You're going to be there
good.
This
Sunday.
is your rabbit's foot
Yeah.
right here.
I'm
all
sorry,
good.
NYCFC. I'm sorry, Portland. I never thought I would have to apologize to Portland, but I have to. Look, clearly this year in particular, we're seeing from the first few seconds of the game,
Yes.
NYCFC apparently, I don't know if there's like hey guys, Jesse Marsh in the locker room was like, hey, look, let's do that thing where we score like immediately so that we
Yeah.
can kind of crush their spirits early
Or
on.
was it Patrick Vieira being like, it'd be funny if we let him score right away every time? We'll get it back.
That kind of performance leads you his job in the great clubs of Europe. Or Nice.
Nice.
So there's a lot of tension between the two teams, but I feel like a lot of things are going on between them, right? So how about we start with Patrick Vieira leaving
Yeah.
and Jesse Marsh on the potential potential move. So do you know anything about that, or it could be? I don't know how strong. It doesn't feel like just a rumor anymore.
Well, I think when you have a coach that is actively leaving his team for 18 months to go take UEFA coaching license courses,
Yeah.
it's pretty plain he's made it very clear what his ambition is. There are some people that have pilloried him for that, and there are some people that have said, well, players say, I want to play in Europe all the time.
Sure.
And we tend not to give them a whole lot of crap. The Red Bulls are having their best first half ever.
Yeah.
They're 10-4-2
Yeah.
on the season, and they're averaging 2 points a game. They have the top goal differential in the league. So on one hand, it's kind of like, yeah, boy, that would really stink if Jesse leaves. On the other hand, he's having the best year ever. So I definitely get the sense that at the very least after this season, I can see a number of wholesale changes to the team. A, Jesse will probably go. B, Tyler Adams will be sold.
He said already he's gone, right? Or did it come out?
No, it's not been officially
But not
announced
official?
that he's
Okay.
leaving. And C, I expect Tim Parker to test the international waters as well. His contract is up at the end of the year, and the Red Bulls knew that when they acquired him from Vancouver for Felipe. And I imagine that they've been talking to him the whole time. The fact that he's now getting U.S. men's national team minutes in Europe is like, hey, no, don't play him. No, just keep him here. But he's coming to his own. He's a terrific player, a very strong player, and I sense that he will be gone as well.
Okay, so I guess I want to get to like each the how psychologically prepared are, because I know we hung out with Luis Robles the other couple months ago.
You're welcome.
He is a phenomenal human being.
He's a great guy.
Great dude.
Very funny too.
And just after the game, who'd you guys play last?
We were in Toronto this weekend.
In Toronto,
where we shut them out at home.
Yes. And after the game, I know Robles said, "Oh, we're going to go to Yankee Stadium and get 3 points over at the blue side," and people are very happy that he even refers to NYCFC as the blue side. But the mentality going into these games, clearly NYCFC is as much as the fan base is trying to get like hype and tries to support the team, like, yo guys, this is the one game because they play well against everyone else in the league.
Do they?
Except
they're having a good season. They're having a good season.
That is
stop.
They're having a good season.
I feel like that's a factual statement.
Yes,
right?
yes, you're correct. They're a good team.
So
1 point away from you guys.
What do you think the difference is in the mentality towards this game between the two teams?
I think the real key is going to be really who Torrent is and what he can bring to his first derby match.
Yeah.
The history is there, right? They've been outscored 8-0 in 2 games this season. New York's game, as we all know, is score real fast, which they did at Toronto in the 4th minute this weekend, and then press you to death. I can't say that I've focused too much on what Torrent has done in the 2 games of work. I know you guys fell behind in both games.
Yes.
Came back against a Toronto team that frankly isn't doing so great. And Chicago is a bogey team, I think, for both Red Bulls and NYC. They are. I don't want to play them in the playoffs.
Jax likes to beat everybody from this region.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So I just think it'll be interesting as the NYC players figure out what Torrent wants. I know, for instance, Alexander Ring is pushing up the field a whole lot more than he had, not really serving as that destroyer in the center, but a little freedom to move further up, and what that means for Adams and Davis as they attempt to contain him as well, along with Morales. And whether Birgit, the superhero, shows up or Birgit, the anonymous.
That's his favorite player.
Yeah. Okay.
Send him to the red side if you want.
No, you're not a fan?
Not a fan.
Well, he certainly knows his New York maps because he made that great comment about how he believes that the Red Bulls really want to be a New York team. And for a guy from Norway to say that, there's a ton of credit.
Norway firing shots.
I mean, here's the
no
thing.
guns are allowed in Norway, but he's firing shots.
Off the field, I agree with everything this dude said. He's like, he marched
he's in
for.
there.
Yeah, he's a very progressive dude.
I'm
Like
sure
I
he's a
like
great
a
guy.
lot. Yeah, I like him a lot.
It raises the question that you just said. Like, do you think they'll ever be a trade between the two teams?
I would hope not.
You wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, you already got Mehdi Bellucci.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
You already had Jason Hernandez come through. Original,
Metro star.
last Metro star playing in the league.
Yeah.
And the Red Bulls knocked him out this weekend in Toronto.
Physically, like they punched them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I think he got hurt. Right.
He got hurt.
This is a whole
didn't
new
knock him out. Miles Joseph is on your coaching staff, if I'm not correct.
Okay.
Former Metro star.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of mixing, but I mean, I don't like it when players move between the Giants and Jets. I don't care for it when players move between the Yankees and Mets. I would hate to see a trade between the two teams. Like, not good. And I think, for better or worse, I think Marsh and Dennis Hamlet understand the meaning behind this rivalry. And at a time when DC United has been kind of crappy for the most of this decade, to be able to plant a flag and say, these are the 3 games that we absolutely have to win this season if we're going to consider the season a success, because we know the team's postseason history. We can't get away from it.
Is NYCFC now a bigger rival than DC?
Yes, for me. So here's, I mean, I've been there since year one in the Meadowlands in '96. I was there for that.
I was there for that too, by the way. I
That
went
was
to a couple
you?
games. Yeah, that was me. I was one of the only 7 other people.
brown hair at that time for me. But I was there for that amazing playoff series in '96 between the two teams that really kind of cemented that this is the real big rivalry. There are a lot fewer old school '96 Metro guys than ever before, right? Because every year they gravitate away, or they, it's just been so long, or they don't like this brand, or whatever. There have been a lot more Red Bull fans that have come in since Red Bull Arena. We know it from who our listenership is, people that gravitate, and they're like, yeah, when the arena got built, oh, it was really great. Let's go do it. So for them,
They're
I think
hopped up on Red Bull.
They're hopped up.
I love this arena.
That's right. They're hopped up.
Why will my heart stop?
That's right. They're hepped up on goofballs and taurine, and for them, it's NYC. Now, keep in mind the vagaries of the MLS schedule, and because DC United is opening their stadium later this month, the Red Bulls haven't played DC United yet.
Yeah.
All right.
So they'll and DC and NYC are the only teams that the Red Bulls play 3 times this season. So we haven't played DC yet. The season's half over. So it'll be really interesting as Wayne Rooney gets going and as the playoff push really starts. And, mea culpa, but I would think that both the red team and the blue team will make the postseason, unless the wheels come off of one of them or both of them. But DC United having 15 of 17 their last 17 games at home, and with Wayne Rooney, who's I'm sure will be a quality MLS striker, they're going to be a speed bump for the Red Bulls for sure.
We went to the Champions League game against Chivas.
Yeah, that was awesome.
There's that sarcasm.
How did you feel about that run? I mean, a lot of people were generally, especially NYCFC fans, a lot were like, I want the Red Bulls to lose, which makes all the sense in the world.
Yep.
We were kind of more...
we were hoping you guys got
make the final.
More money. Yeah, but then lose there. Just to waste your guy. Waste the energy.
But we were sort of hoping, even when Toronto got to the final, it would be good for the league, obviously.
Yes,
what was your take on that run in the Champions League and how it ended up?
Is it a positive for you guys?
I think as the sick feeling of being unable to score a goal at home kind of washes out of your system months later, I think the team will look back on it as being a tremendous positive. They were playing hardcore playoff games in March, right? And when it comes to November, that muscle memory, maybe not the result, but you have to remember they beat a Mexican team in Mexico, right?
Yeah,
and yes, Luis Robles had to stand on his head, but they got a 2-0 win in Mexico against the Liga MX team. That hasn't happened so often, right? They got by Olympia of Honduras, and they played Chivas, who is the eventual champion, to a standstill. And so the one thing that I'm hoping the Red Bulls take away from this for the postseason is Jesse Marsh, and I think a lot of coaches sometimes can be addicted to tinkering with their lineup when it's crunch time.
Okay.
We've seen it a number of times out of Marsh in terms of whether it's squad rotation or whether it's, I really need a goal in this game. I'm going to do something that they're not expecting. Well, the Red Bull way has a +18 in MLS and has won 10 of 16 games. So at a time when the margin of error shrinks to 0, don't monkey.
Yeah.
Trust. This is what brung you here.
Yeah, your old
play
coach
your game.
Your old coach just did that in the World Cup. Sorry, I was doing that with Mexico.
Well, that's right. That is
the ultimate tinkerer.
in your notebook. Right. That's right. So, when the Red Bulls get to the playoffs, they will look back on their CCL adventure and think, yeah, this is good. I mean, I would have preferred if they had gone a little bit deeper in the Open Cup as well, but they had that magnificent run to the final last year, came up 1 goal short, as they often do in the postseason. And I think those experiences, plus a lot of the young core of this team, won the USL Cup in 2016.
Yeah.
Right? Long, Velo, Davis, Adams, Bezecourt, if and when he gets healthy again. So
Mines wasn't there yet.
Mines wasn't. He played some out of the academy in 16.
He lost. I know he posted something saying that it was like a heartbreaker that when he lost to Louisville City. That was last year.
Yeah, he missed the PK that would have sent them back to USL Cup.
Yeah.
But that belief, it's like we're a really good team.
Yeah.
And we're not afraid of anybody.
Well, even in the beginning of the year, throughout the Champions League run, it was children playing
Mere
against-
children. Check his papers.
It's not even that play the kids. These are toddlers out
Yes.
there playing, and they were dominating, and they were winning games that I mean, we saw with Toronto.
Sitting on the bench doing their homework. You know?
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. I finished my
I
math.
just finished my algebra. Come on. Don't step on my diorama.
So, but that is the
You did math dioramas?
I
I have like the science with the
That was
the
a different
planets
player.
hanging-
You gotta stick with the characters.
All right. Okay.
but there must be
Math
that sense
dioramas.
of comfort that even if God forbid an injury or something that
Next man up.
next man up is a child, and they might be perfectly fine.
Well, this was our frustration. From day one, we've been saying new teams like NYCFC need to have a 2-team.
They need to.
Atlanta has now a 2-team.
They do.
That's, I think Red Bull, there was a lot of teams that started and took them away. Red Bull, when I think started, people were like, what is this about? Like, who cares? No one's going to go watch it, blah, blah, blah. I think it takes like a good 2 or 3 years, clearly. And all of a sudden, these kids are able to come right up to the first team, and they've played those games where like a lot is on the line. They're that speed and that pace.
Yeah.
There's something they're much more familiar with. I think there's a lot of teams that could certainly use it. NYCFC certainly absolutely needs one. I don't know why they're dragging their feet with it. I think it's where they're going
Because
to play.
the answer, is
Yeah,
where would they
where-
play, which is a popular and
Who
timely
cares?
question around
Play
your
in
franchise.
But
Westchester.
the
Who
first
gives a
team is having an issue about where they're going to
Where
play.
are they on the infield of Yonkers Raceway?
Yeah, fine.
People are like, yeah,
Great
no, they'll
idea.
play in Westchester.
That's better than what we have now.
There's
which is
no
nothing.
There's no room.
There's room in Westchester. I've been there before. The roof of the mall. All right? Banging around a little bit. Watch out for the air
You're
conditioning.
going to lose a couple balls.
Yeah.
from time
The
to time.
highway's going to be very upset about it.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I mean, unless they're playing at SUNY Purchase or at Manhattan Villa or Pace on a college football field.
Oh, what about their new training center that they just built in Orange?
on the
County?
west side of the river?
Yeah.
Great.
No, Orangeburg.
Yes,
Isn't that-
it's in Rockland County.
Yeah.
is it? Well, whatever. That's New York State. That's allowed. At least it's the state, buddy. I mean, you got the name on the thing and you're in Jersey. All right.
So, I want to ask before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I have a question as well, so go ahead.
Okay.
Don't fight, boys.
It's just all this NYCFC infighting is just a clear example.
Can't you guys get yourself together and
Damn
then we
it.
can?
We need to get our house in order.
That's right.
Alexis.
Could you give us a minute, Mark?
We hung out with Dax McCarty over at
Punch bowl.
Fruit bowl.
Fruit bowl, excuse me.
fruit
Yeah,
bowl,
I remember.
Although he can use it for whatever he wants.
Feel free to put
It's a
punch
gift,
in
buddy.
it.
It's a gift.
It's a very small punch bowl,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you can have a good time
Punch
with
for
it.
one, my
Punch
guy.
for one.
The last few years, Rebels have made those big moves when they've
Yep.
gotten rid of players that were beloved by the team, by the fan
Traded the
base.
captain 2 years in a row.
Yes.
Sasha Question, Dax McCarty. Now, in hindsight, it looks like, all right, well, they knew something we didn't.
You guys are like, sell everybody.
Right.
At the time, how'd you feel when it happened, and how do you feel now?
Well, I think part of the reason, frankly, that there may be a few more empty seats at Red Bull Arena this year is this is the Dax McCarty trade effect. Dax was traded in January of 2017 after all the season tickets had been sold. And so now I believe you're seeing the result of people saying that's, you can't, I'm done. I'm out. And I know quite a few people that have said that.
Dax's family members?
Notwithstanding Dax's family
Where's all
members.
the redheads in the stadium?
Right. I mean, listen, there are very few players that have ever kissed the badge after scoring a goal because of the modern football branding Michigas over this logo.
Got it.
Dax scored a goal that knocked out DC United at RFK Stadium in the playoff game, and he kissed the badge. And for a lot of people, for me, that was really a big moment to kind of say, you know what? Yeah, this is my team. And this team has done so much for me, and I'm all in, right? Trading him was incredibly painful. It was incredibly painful. But
Painful for him, he found out during his wedding.
incredibly painful for everybody.
They're like, do you take this? I do what?
Right.
Looking
Right.
at your
But
phone.
then he got a fruit bowl. He was like, you know what? I'm
It's
all right.
not- it's
I'll
not
be
that
fine.
bad.
Sometimes things work out. And he
Um,
burned his contract, his old contract, in that fruit bowl.
There you go. Multiple uses.
Yeah.
And then the team traded Sasha again, and I think the message from the front office was, trust us, because we have a vision about what we want this team to be. And you can make the argument that Tyler Adams isn't the player that Tyler Adams is today unless Dax McCarty gets traded, or unless Sasha Kljestan gets traded, right? Or Kaku doesn't come in, who's leading the league in assists, just like Sasha Kljestan did the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So I get it. I hope it's truly not an annual event because soon it's going to be the U15s playing at Red Bull
It's
Arena.
wearing on your soul after
A little
while.
bit, just kind of like,
or every time somebody becomes captain, you're like, well, it was nice knowing you.
Well, and that's, I mean, that's the
Rip the
joke.
armband off.
Right. Hey, no thanks.
Yeah.
I'm all good. I'll just be a foot soldier. But you can't argue with the results. The team is playing very, very well. They're looking forward, obviously, to the weekend. They've had a lot of success against everybody this year. They're conceding only a goal a game. 4 of the 16 goals they've conceded were in one match in Orlando, which was bonkers. I mean,
yeah.
right when Robles gets basically bodied into the net on a corner kick that somehow was allowed, which makes
That's allowed in Orlando.
all right.
Dominic Dwyer's allowed to do whatever he
Yeah.
wants.
Okay. Well, who knew?
But speaking on the subject of losing players, you guys went through, the Thierry Henry, Rafa Marquez. What was the bald dude's name that like almost hit a chick in a wheelchair, a girl in a wheelchair in the stands?
Luke Rogers?
Yes, that was his name, Luke Rogers. That dude was a nutbag, right?
He was
All right. I barely watched, but I'm like, I think this dude's off his rocker.
He was crazy.
He was a maniac, right? They didn't let him back in the country because he fought a guy, right?
He actually overstayed his visa because he stayed for the playoffs.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He overstayed his visa, and then he went back, and they're like, "You can't do that, dude. You gotta check in."
Oh, okay. I thought it was because somebody said like he tried to knife a dude. All right. Well, there was the just like
What
there's
a
a lot
wild
of rumors
difference.
about this guy. This dude's very English. This guy
Yes.
was very like
Yes.
like very English. But like, all right. So you had that era where you were buying big players
Yep.
and Luke Rogers, and and now you have this era where you're getting rid of some of your bigger
Yep.
players, but you have all these youth players that are coming in. The team, from our standpoint, seems like it must be more fun to watch now
Yeah.
from the fans, but there seems to be less fans because of those moves. If you had to pick one, would you rather have the big names and maybe fill the seats in a little more, or would you rather have it the way it's going now?
I really, really, really want an MLS Cup title for this team. Once that happens, we can have the conversation again. But for right now, it's literally win the goddamn last game of the season. Because over the last 2 or 3 years, you can make the argument they've been one of the best teams in the league, right? They haven't missed the playoffs since 2009. Only Seattle can make that boast. They have to figure out how not to commit hara-kiri once they get to the postseason. But by and large,
BWP got to learn how to score in the post.
well, or was Sasha missing a penalty? And I talked to Sasha after that season ender last year, and I said, "What is it about you? Like, why? Why do you guys can't do this? Because you do it fine during the regular season.
Why are you taking penalties?
Why did you do that?
And his
that's not you.
and his response was, we all want to be the first team to finally deliver the title of this team to this fan base. And if something goes wrong, it makes it very difficult to come back. So to your answer, it's no. To younger players, more anonymous team. The team is the star, except for Bradley Wright Phillips, who has 97 goals all time in MLS.
Right.
And with a hat trick this weekend, he can get to 100, which would be phenomenal.
Well, WB has 400. My shirt says.
For NYCFC?
Right, yeah, you might have missed a couple of those games.
Oh, okay.
We
All
count
right.
preseason.
Is he
as
playing
well.
this week?
We also count FIFA. There's an E-League now.
It's okay.
He's really good.
He
Look,
is
He
really
does
good.
90-minute halves.
We said, MLS needs more transparency, but this is the number that they
That's the
put
number.
out.
Okay.
Look, it might be Tam a little bit in there. We don't know. Okay.
Tam is at least 70 to 80 of those goals.
Well, the game, the Hudson River Derby is this weekend, July 8th. That's Sunday, right?
7 o'clock.
Yes. And to all the fans listening that are Red Bull fans, you're welcome. Look, we've had players on. We're having content. And to all the NYCFC fans, I'm sure you had to listen to that commercial for the last half hour. But the guy's great. He does a great job. He's nice to us, which not all Red Bull fans are. And we absolutely love all the content you're doing. And I know you were trying to go 5 days a week, but listen, anything you put out,
Thanks, man.
it's really good. Look, we're not Red Bull fans, but we think what you're doing is great. More people need to do what you're doing.
I think that every team in MLS needs to have at least one super strong, locally team-focused pod. The good news is, in this age of citizen media, it's not hard to do. The key to building credibility is to be there every week. Just be consistent, to generate a voice. own your personality. And I love what you're doing. And thank you so much for having me.
Where can people find all your content?
Sure. It's at the very strangely worded website, seeingredny.com. We're Seeing Red NY on Facebook. We're Seeing Red NY on Twitter. The pod is available on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and Spotify and anywhere where you get your pods. We've been doing it for 9 years. Next year is the big 10th anniversary season.
Oh man.
And so yeah, come check it out if you dare.
Let us know if you need us to show up to one of the live events outside Red Bull Arena for you.
We love it.
We just need security detail in case.
I can't wait to see. I don't know, Mark. Have you done that? I've watched some of those Metro Fan TV.
Yes.
Have you done that yet?
I am usually with my family at games.
Okay.
So the idea of, hey, honey and kids,
Yeah.
let's hang out for a half hour, and then I'm going to stand here and yell into a camera. But the Metro Fan TV guys are terrific, and it's wonderful, fun fan content, and
I would love
really
to see Mark just screaming into the camera.
Yeah.
Just
I'll tell you what's wrong, blood. Yeah. When did Mark get an English accent? Yeah.
Mark Fishkin, thank you so much for coming by.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, baby, thanks so much for listening to the Cooligans. We got another word from another one of our sponsors.
That's right, SeatGeek is back.
Yeah, you can't leave us alone, SeatGeek.
SeatGeek, guys, we all know it is the official ticketing partner of Major League Soccer. Also, I just found out SeatGeek, they bought the rights to the Chicago Fire Stadium, and it's going to be called SeatGeek Stadium, not Toyota Park anymore.
SeatGeek Stadium.
SeatGeek Stadium.
If you're a fan of the Chicago Fire and you want tickets, why wouldn't you go to SeatGeek so you could go see a game at SeatGeek Stadium? Doesn't make any sense.
That's why it just they go hand in hand. It's absolutely perfect. And look, SeatGeek.
Everyone could use this though. We've talked about use it for concerts. Look, I make myself look good when I'm out with the lady, okay? And she's like, "Oh, what do you have planned after dinner?" I'm like,
Well, what about your wife?
Yeah, no, this is what I'm talking about.
You're talking-
You say my wife ain't a lady?
No, I'm saying you saw that you were referring to ladies like a different person.
Oh, no. That's a different story. That's from the For Hims ad. No, so I'm out with my wife, right? And she's like, "What do you have planned after dinner?" I was like, "Oh, lots of stuff. I mean, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick." And then you go to the SeatGeek app and they find events around you. I've used this to go to concerts. Look, you can use this app for a bunch. All you have to do is get the app, SeatGeek, get the SeatGeek app, and check this out. If you've never used it before, well, you're in for a treat. Put in the word Cooligans. They're gonna hand you $20.
Somebody's gonna pop out of your phone, and be like, "Yo," and they're gonna stick their hand out, and it's gonna
7 days.
It's gonna be a folded up $20 bill, and they're gonna put it in your pocket and tap you on the chest.
They're gonna say, "You did good, kid. You didn't say a word to the cops." You're gonna get $20 just because you put in the word Cooligans. They're gonna give you $20 off your first order just because you've never used SeatGeek before, but you heard it from us.
Exactly.
So do that. They support us. We support them. When we get tickets, what app do we use?
SeatGeek.
What app are you gonna use?
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek. Yeah, baby, we're back.
Yo, we are back. And wasn't that great with Mark?
What a great interview. Mark Fishkin.
At Mark Fishkin on Twitter. Follow him. He's honestly, for just league wide, he is one of the better follows if you're a fan of Major League Soccer.
Yeah, and look, he's a big Red Bulls fan. Can you tell? He knows a lot of the information. Look, that's what journalists do.
He's 420 pounds.
Yeah. What?
I'm saying he's a big Rebels fan.
Oh, hey. Sometimes they even go past me. But yeah, look, we love the fact that people are making content for their favorite teams. I got guys at OG been doing it forever. So if you're a Rebels fan and you're not listening to him, you've probably you know it exists. Listen, give him a 5-star review. Help the guy out.
So let's talk about Major League Soccer. It was a good weekend in Major League Soccer. There were the World Cup this, World Cup that, but we had a couple derbies last week. We had the Cali Clasico. We had Portland, Seattle. We had Atlanta, Orlando. Or as they've been renamed for Orlando, as I've seen on Twitter.
That's terrible.
I say it's terrible as a recipient of several 4-0 results. I think that is wrong.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't show that much disrespect.
And technically a hate crime. So don't ever do that again.
So how do you feel now, Atlanta?
Huh?
So, speaking of Orlando, I did a show out in Brooklyn the other day. I was hosting a show at the Faulkner. And,
not far from my apartment.
Yeah, and I was and there was a family of 3 nearby, and I was just like, hey, where are you guys from? Whatever. And they were like, oh, we're from Orlando. And I've been starting to do this at comedy shows. I've been just being like, you know what, like, let me just ask them about some MLS shit.
You never know.
You never know, but you know they're not gonna.
We
say,
know.
We
but
know.
Like, you never know.
And I was like, oh, you ever go to any Orlando City games? And they were like, hey, yeah, we're season ticket holders. And then I started teasing them about like how the season was going. And I gotta say,
Everyone else was.
well, I mean, look, I know a lot. The other people had no idea what we were talking about,
Right.
But I gotta say, because I was teasing them about they've had a 7-game losing streak, and
Yeah.
and I think I had a 7-joke losing streak because they weren't really laughing about
They're
it.
just staring like, even when we come to New York,
we can't get away from it.
we can't get away from none of this.
But it is cool to see.
The dad stands up like, this is why we didn't go to Atlanta.
It is good to see that, and this has happened a couple times. There was a show with somebody from Seattle, and I was like, oh, they lived in New York, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you're from Seattle, you go to any Sounders games? They're like, yeah, I'm a big Sounders guy. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that happened to
This
me. Remember, I was talking to a family from Dallas, and I was like, "Oh, you probably don't go to FC Dallas games because it's really far away." They're like, "No, actually, we live in Frisco, but we say Dallas. We're season ticket holders." And I'm like, "You're 3 of the 7," and they started laughing. It was a lot of fun.
What's cool? I was telling
But they were so excited that they didn't want to say FC Dallas because they didn't think anyone knew what it was.
yeah, it's so weird. We have to be like closet MLS fans.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, not
Them days is over.
So we're gonna be living our lives out and proud.
Fabulous ass MLS fans.
Kind of like the homie Colin Martin.
Colin Martin. Round of applause for Colin
Minnesota
Martin.
United player who just for Minnesota United's Pride Night before the game he announced.
He decided to come out on Twitter,
Yeah,
which is a beautiful thing.
that's how millennials do it now.
Yeah.
They don't call their parents. They don't do
No,
it. Yo,
they
mommy, you ain't got Twitter. You ain't gonna know the truth.
And you know whether your parents like it or not, whether they retweet it. That's
Yes, right. That's the test now.
crying dad didn't retweet it. No, but he did fave it, honey. You got to give him time. You got to give him time.
And if he quote tweets it with the prayer hands, you got a good dad.
Then you're a good fan, but it doesn't count as a retweet. That's the only thing that's really annoying.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we got to sort that out, Twitter.
Yeah.
You're really ruining families.
Also, give us the blue check mark. Anyway, props to Colin Martin because I know that can't be easy. We have friends who told us their out stories, just in comedy and stuff. Some of them have it as jokes, and it's never easy to do this.
Even we force our straight friends to tell us their out stories.
Yeah, no, we never did. We're like, go ahead, you could share it with us.
This is a safe space.
Yeah, my friend's like, actually, my wife is very upset. We're like, no, she can wait.
We all know.
It's time the truth comes out. Go ahead, tell us.
A couple things that happened in Major League Soccer this week. I mean, not only in Major League Soccer, a couple transfers. Some of the lower news cycle stuff. LeBron to Lakers. Nobody cares about that.
Nobody cares about that. No, Americans aren't jumping up for joy or freaking out about it because everyone's paying attention to World Cup, right?
You couldn't wait till after the World Cup, LeBron.
Come on, Bron.
Dog. All right, we're trying over here. We're trying to. This is the only time we have.
It's 2 weeks. You couldn't wait 2 weeks.
2 weeks left, man. Unreal. It's really. I mean, is he an ally? Think about it though.
I'm starting to think now.
So, but Mauro Diaz, which took American news media, sports media by storm.
It was the first 3 things on SportsCenter's roll call. What do they call it? Drop down.
You got me. The rundown.
Rundown. That is what it's called. All right.
Drop down. It's a drop down. This is JavaScript, everybody.
yeah. It's a drop down menu. And there's a nerd joke right there.
There we go.
I think.
Mauro Diaz, FC Dallas midfielder, who is really the architect out there.
Yeah.
And a big reason why FC Dallas has been successful the last couple of years was sold to Shabab Al Ali Dubai.
Al Ali Dubai is, I think, the biggest team out there. I think that's the big one.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I hope he's not just going
To some bum ass team.
bum ass Qatari team or whatever. Or no, he's Arab Emirates. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna adapt just fine out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's gonna make a lot more money than he would in MLS.
Mauro Diaz is Argentinian, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but he is he hasn't been he didn't play the last 2 games. I know because I had him on my fantasy team, and I'm like, what's all this about?
Yeah. Step your game up.
Because I haven't heard any news of him going anywhere. Why is he not on the team? And we heard it from Mark Fishkin about transparency.
Yeah.
And it's that the transparency we want is I want to know who's going to be playing because of my damn fantasy team, and you're ruining things for me.
That's literally all the transparency we need.
That's all we need.
We don't need nothing about your finances. Just let us know who's playing.
I don't care. Anybody under the table, this payments under, nobody cares.
Tam, bag of jewels, whatever you do, we don't care.
Not my problem, but I need to know
Who's playing this week.
And if you don't tell me that Mauro Diaz is going to Dubai,
How are we supposed to know?
how are we going to
At the very least, why don't you cut him down a little bit? Unexpected points, things like that. Form. Be like, nah, he's going to play badly because he's not going to play at all.
He's not going to play at all. Yeah, that might affect his offensive efficiency if he's not on the field. If he's not in the country. Yeah. It might.
Expected points next round. How about 0?
So,
Guy's doing a physical in Dubai.
I think this is I'm sure similar to who was the guy that went to not
Fabian Castillo?
Fabian Castillo.
Yeah.
Besiktas? Did he go? Where'd he go? No.
He went to
Trabzonspor.
Trabzonspor.
It boggles my mind that I know these names of these
Trabzonspor.
of these teams in
We
Turkey.
we were all little boys just looking up at a Trabzonspor poster.
What has this sport done to me? I'm like, why do I know this information?
Every year when the team photo Trabzonspor comes out, my grandmother puts it up above the mantle. You all know it. This is the ritual we all live.
So but I think I think FC Dallas is going to be. They're sitting, I believe, in second or third place in the Western Conference, but this is going to affect them very, very negatively. They lost to the Red Bulls when they were up 10 men, up a man.
Yeah.
For 75 minutes of a game, their midfield does look a little bit. They're lacking the creativity that Mauro Diaz provided.
Yeah, I mean, he's their number 10 essentially. You know, he's their creative, the most creative player on the team. That's not going to be easy to come back from. They're in third place in the Shield.
Yeah,
and you're selling one of your best players. But this is what happens when you play in the summer. People are leaving midway. Patrick Vieira, gone midway through the season. Mauro Diaz, gone midway through the season.
Did you hear about a couple issues that Vieira's dealing with already?
No.
Apparently, Mario Balotelli did not show up to the training that every player was supposed to go to, but the mandatory training. There were 2 players. I forgot the other guy, but the other guy, it was reported that he had like a plane delay or some issue like that. But Balotelli got no excuse.
Yet Balotelli was at the Tekashi concert in Italy.
Oh,
Tekashi brought him out.
Oh, well, interesting. Oh, maybe that's why he was like,
well, of course I'm late. I'm partying with 6ix9ine. Duh.
Yo, I mean, like, give me a break.
Yeah,
right?
on the regular. Yeah.
Speaking of Tekashi 6ix9ine, did you see what he's been doing on the internet?
Guy's got goalkeeping skills.
He guys got goalkeeping skills more than I like. He made a little video of him like playing soccer poorly,
pretending to be like bad at it.
And then he was like, yo, that's all jokes right now, you know.
But like, yo, dead ass, I was like the best goalkeeper in high school. His kid's a New Yorker, half Mexican, half Puerto Rican.
Yes,
kid's got skills.
Kid's got skills. He was actually, taking some shots. I mean,
look, they only posted the ones where he made saves,
which you expect that.
Which look, if you're Spain, you're like, can we do that for De Gea? we only count the ones where he saves them.
Yo, I mean,
but the kid's got a lot of skill. Clearly, well trained.
David De Gea, we know for the next World Cup needs to have a serious amount of tattoos on his face if you really want to be taken seriously.
If you don't have a 6ix9ine on your forehead, then we know you ain't ready for this.
Yeah, you know what? Upgrade it. Don't even get 6ix9ine on your face. Don't get a tattoo of 6ix9ine on your face. Get a tattoo of 2 people 69ing on your face.
There we go.
Then we're gonna see how really committed you are to la selección. What is it? The rojos or the roja? Yeah. La roja. That's what they call them, right? The Spain. I think they call them la roja.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Also, I'm interested to see who's on top and who's on bottom in the 69.
I don't know. My suggestion: Mourinho and Pogba. Really, making amends.
Both of them on top. Wow.
Making those the 6 and the 9.
Yeah. Mourinho's got to be on bottom. He's an older man.
So, what were you? Oh yeah. So, but no, Takashi also did a fun, hilarious video after Mexico lost in the World Cup.
Yeah, where he was just looking all sad and despondent somewhere. He was in Italy.
Walking around town with a Mexican flag and only walking around with one shoe.
Yeah.
He walked down with his pants below his butt.
They just kept falling
and
further.
one pant leg up above his knee.
Yeah.
And only walking around with one shoe. So either he's falling on hard times.
Takashi's got jokes.
Or the guy has a sense of humor. And it's difficult to really take him super seriously because he's usually like #1 troll on the internet.
And also, he's funny enough where I think we can make this announcement. We are extending an offer. Takashi, you can come play for Cooligans FC. Comedians only team. You're good enough keeper.
First of all, I don't want to lose a game with Tekashi 69 on my team because there's gonna be bodies. Right?
Yeah. The other team's like, we're just gonna let you score a couple of own goals because we
don't really want.
Because there's all these dudes dressed in red staring at us.
It's just like it's all of a sudden there's too many bandanas. I'm not super comfortable playing.
I thought your team colors were white. Why is everyone here wearing red? This is very uncomfortable.
But funny. You gotta look. We point out when people do funny stuff, whether we agree or disagree with their lifestyle or what they do.
Yeah.
But it was some funny stuff. So let's talk about a couple games. Cali Clasico. Let's start with that because that game was a great back and forth. Pretty nuts.
It was entertaining to watch. I don't know why
and to play in. I'm sure it was fun.
I'm sure they enjoyed themselves. I don't know why they played at Stanford. I know they said they have 55,000. That must be a much bigger stadium because they didn't look it. You could see a lot of empty seats, but there was only really one goal scored in the run of play. Like everything else was, penalties and.
Okay, yeah.
Although Alessandrini had a monster free kick.
Yeah, well, all the goals, a brace for Zlatan again.
Yeah.
But his first goal that happened, 56 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
Zlatan, I think keepers need to learn very quickly that Zlatan, I think, is the strongest kicker on this in the league. Right?
He's got a goddamn boot on him.
He blasted the ball so damn hard. I don't even know who the keeper is for San Jose right now, but he made him look silly. It looked like
is it Bingham?
No, Bingham was last year.
Yeah,
last
year.
He's the Galaxy keeper.
He's not
now.
a Galaxy, yeah.
But he looked like, when you have a gnat flying around your face and you're like, it's like on your eye and face and you're like, you swing at it way too late.
You're always like a step ahead behind it.
That's what goalkeepers look like trying to stop Zlatan's shots. They're like, oh no. And they look like they're just fighting with the air. Cause it's like, the ball went in seconds ago. You look like you have like a motor move, like motor issues where you can't.
It's like that gif of the kid that gets kicked in the face with the ball and then he jumps to the right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he looked like.
So Zlatan making people look bad, but I feel you see the post game conferences that Zlatan gives and the interviews and stuff, and you start feeling really bad. He needs to be he wants to be on a better team.
Yeah.
He can't say it, but
he's good enough. He's good enough to be winning trophies.
Yes, if
he had better surroundings.
Yes,
and probably a better coach.
And the problem in this game, Michael Ciani was a nightmare, and I think Ciani is either on a TAM contract or might be a designated player. I don't remember, but he's getting paid a lot of money.
He's a ticking TAM bomb. Am I right?
He is a 34-year-old defender.
Looks every bit of it.
Looks that's best way to put it.
Yeah.
Looks every second of 34 plus.
That has been a hard 34 years.
He is looking slow, and I understand that he's an international, he's French and whatever, big guy.
Yeah.
But just a step slow, and he is the weak link in that back line. LA Galaxy, I don't know if they have anybody better, but he's becoming a problem.
Yeah. I mean, he couldn't handle his role, and there was a lot of players looking around on the LA Galaxy, which are like, maybe they're not up to par. You know what I mean? But then I also wonder, is it and that's why I said the coaching thing. Is it that the tactics aren't right? Like clearly, look, if this was like a Samboli, we'd say like, okay, that's not it. You know what I mean? Clearly, the tactics are perfectly fine.
He's
flawless. Never made a mistake. But if you look at what Siggy Schmidt and Dominic Kinnear, what those guys are doing, it just seems like there's something lackluster about the way this team plays.
But it's also San Jose. San Jose is they are the DC United of the Western Conference. They are very, very bad, and they lost to DC United. So it says a lot. They are they're a bad team, and LA Galaxy.
But they stepped up for this game.
They stepped up, and you saw Wondolowski as Tarbell's the keeper.
Yeah.
When he scored his first goal, he scored the penalty. The
penalty
Tarbell
was rebounded.
saved.
Yeah. But he yelled at Tarbell. I wonder why.
Yeah. I don't know. No, he yelled at Bingham.
He yelled at Bingham. My bad. Yeah.
But when you saw him hit. You saw him score and just yelled at Bingham. I mean, Bingham was there last year. It is. We asked the question to Mark Fishkin about what you think NYCFC and Rebels would ever either do a trade or work together in any way.
And he was like, hell no.
But Bingham, he wasn't traded to.
No, I think he just signed.
He just signed with them. So for the players themselves, may I ask you that? If a player left NYCFC and signed with the Rebels, is that like the worst thing they could do, or do you not? You can't support that player anymore when they come back, right?
If you're a player and you didn't get along with that player, and then they go and sign with your rival, I think it's fair game, and I think that's what we saw. I think as a fan, you never want to see a player you like sign with the other team.
Of course.
That sucks.
Yeah. Raise another thing. There was a great article from Paul Tenorio on The Athletic that I thought was really interesting about that he brought up that MLS needs to, it's sort of like a copycat league, and bringing up the one thing that MLS should do on their own is intra-league loans, which is a thing you don't see often.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
He brought up the example of Andrew Carlton, who can't really get playing time for the first team in Atlanta.
And he's really good.
And he's very good. And he's going to be a future U.S. men's national team midfielder.
Yeah.
And he needs playing time. And it's not impossible to see him in maybe the bench of the next World Cup. So if the U.S. can get there, obviously. But the one thing that we don't really see is that teams are not they don't seem inclined to let their young talent play on another team in MLS.
Well, yeah, I mean, though, I think it's just a simple thing of the last thing you want. I mean, these are assets.
Yeah,
and you don't want them to get injured. But you still need them to play.
But you need them to get better.
Yeah,
and you need them to that when they do get to your team. Just like in the Premier League, they loan to everybody.
Everyone. Chelsea has like 1,000 players out,
and it's a thing that MLS does not really do, and it's something that should change. I mean, it's a great article on The Athletic. The headline is MLS teams are reluctant to loan each other's top prospects, but that could change. So I highly suggest you read it. Also, The Athletic, they're sponsoring the show.
Yeah,
they're sponsoring
awesome.
the Cooligans, and they're great. If you go to theathletic.com/Cooligans, and you will get 40%
off
your first year subscription.
Yeah, your first year.
And it's not just soccer; it's a bunch of other sports. We talked about it a bunch, but the articles are great. And guys like Paul Tenorio, one of the best soccer writers there are. An all-star staff, men and women covering the game, and so I highly recommend you checking it out.
Yeah, George Karash did a great job putting that together.
So a couple NYCFC loses to Chicago Fire. What happened, Alexis?
Qatar. That's what happened.
Qatar? What?
The Qatar World Cup. No one knew how to handle Qatar, man.
I mean, no one, specifically
Ben Sweat.
The homie Ben Sweat. We love you, Ben Sweat, but man. Yeah. And also Alexander Collins, who was also slipping and sliding.
Both of them slipping and sliding. Look, I think, you go up. NYCFC has not had a good road experience this season.
Yeah.
This was one of those games where you're like, all right, we're turning it around. No. All of a sudden.
I mean, we know Villa's injured. He hurt his knee in the last game. But
Jerry Schradi back scoring goals.
Schradi,
Burgett
losing early goal. That the Nemanja Nikolic, your boyfriend, scores. Which
remember, he's He loves me.
He didn't want to do it, but he had to do it.
Yeah.
Alexis. So he some people don't know what we're talking about, but you look up our All-Star video on YouTube. So to explain why I am calling him his Nemanja Nikolic, Alexis' boyfriend. So but Shradi scores, and then Burgett, your new best friend.
Yeah.
Yoinga Burgett.
We've been talking about since day one. Nothing but great things.
And then beginning in the second half, Katai was just like, you know what? Let me turn this on and just embarrass these fools. And he did exactly that. Both of his goals were Ben Sweat giving him just a little too much space, and then getting it past Sean Johnson.
Also getting turned around. I mean, he's running backwards, he's running sideways. Katai is one of those players that when he turns it on, it's fucking incredible. You don't see that often, but maybe that's the change Chicago needs. Maybe that was the moment where Chicago becomes a little bit of a better team.
Yeah, and the cool thing, and again,
and they're in the playoffs as of right now. They're in the picture. I mean, they're not having a terrible season.
Are they? I don't even know where they are.
Yeah, they're the last.
They're in sixth place. Yeah, good for them. So, but also World Cup effect. You're seeing in that game, the NYCFC game at Toyota Park. They had a lot of people. I was just like, hey, there's people out here.
A little bit of a bump. Every 4 years, we get a bump.
World Cup bump. You gotta love it. But a shame for NYCFC. I mean, I guess after the game, people were like, "Oh, that was a trap game." It's like, no, man.
Yeah.
For a lot of, teams struggle with Chicago occasionally, but they're not in the best of form. But Katai took over the game, and I was like, and really just demanded those 3 points.
And for Dome Torrent, the new coach, this is clearly like still kind of his preseason. I feel like his first real game is going to be this weekend coming up with against the New York Red Bulls.
Yeah, he's going to learn real fast.
Yeah, he's going to get learned.
So, hoping for the best out there. Last game I want to talk about Seattle and Portland.
Yeah.
Seattle, well, actually, let me correct this. Portland wins in CenturyLink.
Yeah, in Seattle.
In Seattle for the first time ever in regular season.
Wow.
So this was
I was not aware of that.
This is a big deal. I was I hung out with the homie Eric Keating. He who is one of the members of Timbers Army Gotham Company out in New York. Lovely people. Hung out with them at Smithfield Hall for
sounds like a lair that evil people hang out in. Welcome to the Timbers Army Gotham Company.
Sure,
we're gonna get Batman.
Yeah, I wish they didn't brand me, but that was that's part of the initiation.
It's part of the culture. What are you gonna do?
I'm like, guys, I'm not even a Timbers fan. They're like, no, you still need to be branded. I have Timber Joey on my buttocks.
Yeah.
So
I just got a log of wood. Forhims.com.
So but yeah, Portland, they good on them. And this game was a game where look, I'm hanging out with a bunch of Timbers. I'm not particularly nervous about the game or the result, but you feel it. They really wanted to win this game, and and Seattle's having such a nightmare of a season. It's like
terrible.
This is the game you should win. But a brace from I don't know how to say his name because it can't be Larry's. Is it like Laris? I think it's like Laris Mabiala.
Yeah. We're going to say Laris.
Yeah.
Because Larry's doesn't feel right at all.
And I knew growing up, I knew a Lari, but it was like English is Larry.
Yeah. But he's Latin.
It's
like James.
Yeah. So you say Laris.
Lari.
So whatever. So Lari, we like to party.
We do cause trouble though, and we seem to bother some people
occasionally. From time to time about it. But a tough game, but the fact that Portland can get this victory is pretty huge. And the fact that the center back gets the brace. I mean, when most of the time when I watch a Seattle Portland game, I'm like, all right. The last game was 1-0. Like they just defensively, they're like, nobody wants to mess up. Nobody wants to lose this game.
Yeah.
So they're usually not the most entertaining, but we get 5 goals in this game.
Yeah, this one was a big one. And you got Armenteros again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cubano.
The Cuban sensation from Norway.
From Norway. Don't ask us any questions.
Don't ask how he got there. Look, it was a political. There's a lot of political turmoil.
Asylum, let the man live it wherever he wants. Norway's just perfectly fine.
But I was hoping Seattle would show a little bit more composure. Nicolodero is back, but there's too many problems. I mean, there's too many problems.
Yeah, it's an odd season. Raul Ruiz, which we didn't mention.
Yes.
When he comes on, clearly this is going to be like, all right, let's see if we can figure this out.
Yes.
Maybe sneak into the playoffs. Might not happen. But we're prepared for next season.
Yeah, I don't know how they are sitting with 12 points. They're 9 points off of the sixth spot.
May not happen, but there's time. All-Star game hasn't even happened yet.
That's right, but it's not gonna happen. I mean,
You
I feel
never know.
sorry for Seattle.
You never know, Seattle.
You never know. I mean, it's gonna be the final is gonna be Sounders DC United.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
It could be Sweden versus Sounders. No one knows.
And shout out to Gustav Svensson.
That's right.
Playing 90 minutes. Who they play against?
Just today.
Just today against Switzerland.
Yeah.
And Gustav Svensson had a good showing, repping Seattle. So maybe
an MLS player in the quarterfinals.
The only one left.
That's it.
Imagine
there can be only one.
Did Gustav Svensson win the MLS Cup with Seattle? He wasn't there yet.
He's the first MLS player to reach the quarterfinals with a non-CONCACAF team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were talking about it in the game that he originally came from China. He was playing in the Chinese Super League, but when they created the rule of limiting the foreign players that you could have, then he was like, then he got cut and he had to go and he went to Sounders.
Yeah.
So he defected. I don't know. He didn't defect, but he had to get out of China.
He begged for his freedom, and we gave it to him.
So the Seattle Sounders gave him asylum. So
yeah.
I'm kind of all right. So that's it, everybody. What another fun show.
It's been a good one, guys. Go to World Cup Comedy Tour. Buy yourself some tickets. You're gonna have a blast. That's it. My name is Alexis Guerrero.
My name is Christian Polanco.
We had a good time today on the
Cooligans.